a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the PWCC Premier Auction Extended Bidding Watch Party. It is Thursday night, March the 16th, 2023, and my name is Jeremy Lee. I'd like to let you all know this Thursday on Sports Cards Live, 10 o'clock Eastern, Matt Burrows will be our guest. It's going to be a nice collector-centric episode. Join us then. And then Sunday at 9:30 Eastern is the PWCC Hockey Weekly Auction coverage with Josh Madigan from the Hockey Cards Gong Show. Want to, of course, shout out the BCF Mag. Our co-host is the editor-in-chief. Go to bcfmag.com and subscribe if you have not yet. They keep on upping their game at that magazine, constantly impressing me. A little bit later tonight, Karn Rai from the Big Three Hockey on Instagram will be joining Adam and I as our special guest yet again. And as always, I want to thank all of our loyal viewers, listeners, and chat people. You know, I love all of you and just so grateful for everybody. With that, let's bring out Adam. Adam, are you ready? He is ready. Let's bring him out. There he is, Adam Gray. What's going on? How are you today?
Dude, I'm great. I told you before, we've got some sick members of the family, which I know not everybody here wants to know about, but it's all okay because I get to come hang out with you for a little while tonight and we get to talk about these almost 200 awesome auctions tonight. So I'm hyped. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We were just on Instagram Live, which if anyone is watching this now doesn't know, me and Adam do a pre-show for about 15 minutes on Instagram. We go through the PWCC account. I join through the Sports Cards Live account, and we do that. So we just spent 15 minutes. So I ask you, how are you? I kind of know because we've just spent 15 minutes together on IG. But as you said, 188 premium lots on the Premier Auction tonight. As quality as ever, as far as what I can see and to my taste. But I want to give you the chance to speak to a bit. There's a nuance between the Premier Auction and the weekly auction. Yeah. And I think there's something that you have a message there, something you'd like to share. So why don't you discuss that?
Yeah, I think what's really fun that we sort of need to recognize is that there's really a difference between these two auctions, right? I think a lot of people who are listening to this maybe already know this, but just as a refresher for those of you who do, and for those of you who are new, you need to know this. The weekly auction, those items close on Sunday, and they close one at a time. And so in the extended bidding window, if an extended bidding window passes without a bid, that item ends, right? But what we get to do tonight is I think it's the best, because what you have is an entire auction that ends at the exact same time. And the number 188, that's a really good, solid number of cards that we can go through. We can look through all of them. But when those items have reached, their max, when people have placed their final bids on each of those, the whole auction will end together. And so if people are joining for the first time and they haven't seen the Premier Auction, that's an important distinction, because they're going to be sitting there going, my card hasn't had a bid on it in 20 minutes. Is it over? And the answer is going to be, well, no, it's still, the auction's still going. So it doesn't end until the whole auction.
Yeah, so they all end at one time. I love that. And I just want to, what I do on the weekly hockey show that I do with Josh Madigan is I'm always curious, what's going to be the sole survivor? What's the last card? And I call it the sole survivor. It's just fun. We can't do that on the Premier, but right. We can see what card got the last bid. And I don't know what to call that. Maybe that's the sole survivor. Maybe that's maybe that's the birthday boy card. I don't know. But it's always fun to gamify these things a little bit.
Well, it's so much fun. And the thing that's important to recognize is, look, a lot of us can't bid on the Premier Auction. A lot of us are bidding in the hundreds of dollars, not in the tens of thousands of dollars. And so, I'm certainly that way, right? It's hard to go out and extend yourself that much. And so for those people who are bidding in the weekly, it is such a fun experience. And between you and Josh do an amazing job on the hockey. Rob does an amazing job on the vintage. And then the thing that I love watching right now is we have over 4,000 Pokemon ending every week, and Pokey Chloe on YouTube does an amazing job of sort of walking through like some of the high end stuff, some of the low end stuff, and she does the same thing you do, where she has like what card is going to last the longest. And you'll have a card that gets one bid in each window, each of those 1 minute windows for a half an hour. And she finally just gives up. She's like, yeah, I got to go. There's only left and just getting bids. But either option suits different things and provides some pros and cons, but they're both wonderful experiences. And but this is my favorite here tonight.
And so important to know, if anyone, if you don't know yet, PWCC has now gone to all access extended bidding. So as of February, and again, if anyone's just coming back, most of you guys know this, but you are free to bid at any time. If these cards are in your wheelhouse, which I wish more of them were in mine, I'd be able to bid right up until the end. You can put in basically a snipe type bid at the end, even though if you do that, it's going to extend the clock. So it's not a pure snipe, but that's kind of nice to know. Make sure if you guys want to bid in, just know what you want to bid on this time, and watch the auction, because when it ends, they all end at once. And then if there was something you wanted, you may be SOL at that point. So to the chat, welcome everybody to the show. And if there are any cards in the auction that you are bidding on, or any cards in the auction that you are selling that you've consigned to PWCC, and you would like Adam and I and Karn later on when he joins to talk about them, to look at them, we'd be happy to. Now, I can understand if you're bidding on a card, you may not want to tell us about it, because then everybody watching knows, and it could drive a bit of additional competition for yourself. But if you're okay with that and you're comfortable, please let us know, and we will root for you. We will definitely root for you. And if there's two of you going for the same card, we may just have to step outside and let you two duke it out and not take sides, or else me and Adam can each take a side and make one friend and one enemy each at the same time. But we will see. There's lots of great cards in this auction. There's some that, again, I'd love to be able to buy. I don't think I'm going to, but I guess you never know. Adam, I mean, I think we should do the same approach we've taken the last several times. I'm going to put the screen up on the broadcast here. We're going to look at it, and we're just going to talk about some of these, and then some cards we're going to actually zoom in on and take a closer look at the condition, especially on the vintage side, where it's just, condition is just that much sort of easier to identify the defects, the centering, the edges, corners, because in general, vintage cards are lower grade than ultra modern and even modern. Before we do that, let's just welcome the people that have already posted in the chat, and I encourage you guys to post and make your comments. Jake Dahl never misses a show. Good to see you. Ryan Burkhardt, great to see you. Mod Cult is here. It's going great, man. It is going great, Mod Cult. Ryan is thinking about submitting a pristine Trout Griffey 101. Very smart. Looks like a card that would command some money, even though I don't know what it is exactly. Paul Santos, good to see you. Diamond Card Collector, good evening. Thank you for being here. Collector's Dream is with us. LGC is here. Vintage Card Collector, what is going on? Best stream of the month. I think we share that. I mean, I certainly do. Scott Pope, welcome to the show, Scott. And Diamond Card Collector, the NT out of 15 Mahomes. I sold to make my wife happy since I've been buying and lost my butt on it back in December. It's back up. So you are thinking about buying the card that you previously sold to replace it. And I won't tell your wife. If you don't, Adam, let's not tell his wife or anyone in his family about this.
Well, Jeremy, I think if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, Diamond Card Collector, but I believe it was last month that you bought a very big card in the Premier Auction that we discussed at the end of it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I might be remembering that right. The Mahomes out of 15 was a card that I actually tried to post today to my social, because I think it's a huge card. The fact that it's sort of like a jersey numbered parallel of the patch auto that we see fairly regularly. Like, we don't see this card fairly regularly, so we need to make sure we take a good quick look at that. But it sounds to me like he's selling that card to pay for maybe what he bought last month.
It's back up, considering picking it back up to, so maybe he's selling this one and going to buy back another one later. I'm not exactly sure, but Diamond, whatever you're up to, good luck and congratulations. Todd McDonald, my son Oliver, is joining me tonight. Good evening. Hey, Todd and Oliver, great to see. Great. Well, we can't see you, but it's great to see your name in the chat, and great to have you with us tonight, fellas. Hockey Cards Up is with us. Good evening, as always. Where'd you go? There you are, Hockey Cards Up. And okay, yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome, Diamond. So, Diamond says the BC Brady Refractor PSA 10. What's that one?
Bowman Chrome, the sort of record setting, I think it was $320,000 that's what it sold for last month. So I shouldn't have said that too loud, but just in case anybody's listening, diamond card collector. But yeah, I understand. And when you go out and you extend yourself, regardless of what level you're at, if you're buying a $20 card and that's your budget, sometimes you have to sell a card. I certainly have had to do this. I know, Jeremy, you've had to do this. It's part of what makes turning your collection into what you want it to be so much fun. Is you have to prioritize what you want and what things you can afford to let go of, and then sometimes afterwards you think, shoot, I shouldn't have let go of that card. It's always sort of fun to figure this out.
And one more thing on that, because this is something I think collectors and even collectors/investors struggle with sometimes, is we buy a card and we may feel like, well, I want to keep this card even though I may not love it anymore. Sometimes and this is just me, sometimes I almost like guilt myself into holding a card because I liked it 5 years ago. But I think, well, why don't I love it as much now? But you just got to be like, okay, I don't love it as much now. I can move it and I can get into something different. I think it's the fluidity of our personal collections, and we have to be, I'm not going to tell you what you have to do, but talking to myself, I have to be able to let a card go and be okay with letting a card go, not feel like I'm a bad collector if I let a card go because I don't love it anymore. Our tastes change over time, and that's just the way that collecting works. And I guess investing as well, when you love what you're investing in. So I want to make that comment. Jeff Hart, good evening to you. Always good to see Jeff Hart. Jeff is a very accomplished collector, vintage basketball. So good to see you, Jeff. All right. Well, Adam, let's bring up the auction. Here it is. Oh, look at that. One of the cards I talked about on the pre-show on Instagram was this championship hardware Michael Jordan. It's the second last card to get a bid in the auction tonight. So nice to see one of those. It's a pop 11. But here we go, Adam. We are into the good stuff. We have it sorted by the default sort. So this is not by highest price or by age. It's by default. So we're going to run through this, and we're going to kind of take our time and talk about a couple cards per view. There are 8 cards in the view, 188 cards altogether in the auction. I believe that's 21 views. No, that's not right. It's a bit more than that. But in any event, we're going to go through these, take a look at them, and hopefully give you guys some knowledge. Nahuggins, good to see you. Welcome to the show. And Rich, great to see you as well. So with that, Adam, here's the first 8. What card listen, they all stand out, but I'm just going to turn the mic over to you and let you talk about 1 or 2 or even 3 of these.
I wonder, appreciate you for being willing to do more than one, because last time we got towards the end, we realized, hey, we could have taken a little bit more time. It doesn't mean we want to take too much time, because we both know that you and I have a propensity to do that. But look, everything on this first page is a huge deal. They're all huge, huge cards. The first one that I'm going to go with, though, I have to go with the Magic the Gathering, the biggest card really probably in the history of Magic the Gathering. If you were to say which card from Magic the Gathering is the most iconic, there's really no question about that, right? It is the Black Lotus. There's just no question at all. The question is, is this the single best Black Lotus in the world? And the reason that you would say yes is it's the highest grade. It's from the first set. It's from the rarest set. And in this case, the card's actually autographed. The case is actually autographed by the person who did the artwork, right? Christopher Rush. So, I said this on the pre-show, as I've talked to people internally and as I've talked to people who really love Magic the Gathering, sort of starting to understand a little bit about why it's as loved as it is. It's different than how we collect, Jeremy. Maybe you're more familiar with it, but we think about athletes, we think about players, we think about these things. Sometimes TCG, it doesn't sort of mean the same thing. But if you spend an hour talking to somebody who collects TCG and you ask them, why is the Black Lotus important? Why does it matter? The thing that's clear is that some of the same principles that drive why we love the sports cards that we love, that's why some of these people love this type of card. And so, this is a moment for Magic the Gathering. You and I are going to have to sort of see on that top scroll bar today a lot of Magic, because there's some of the very best Magic cards in the world being sold. We're really proud of that. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention this card first off the bat.
Yeah, well, I love that you're talking about it, because it's not something that I played as a kid or when I was younger, but I appreciate it. There's 2 things I want to mention about this card. The first one relates to, and I want to welcome fan123 to the show, who makes the comment that Magic collectors are more into BGS than PSA. So my two comments are, number one, I think, if you're buying this card as a Magic the Gathering collector, and this being like the Grail, that you're probably going to get a good crossover grade if you wanted to buy this and cross it over to Beckett. That's the first comment. That if I was the Magic collector, because this applies to sports cards too, I'm not going to be scared off by a grading company, because I know that I can just cross it over if I want to. With, there is risk in that. I understand, especially if you're going to break it out yourself. But I think there's the option, at least. The other option I see with this card, Adam, is that autograph. Now, I don't like the autograph. To me, it's on the case, which I like. The option that gives people is that if you don't like it on there, you can rub that off. If you cross it over to BGS, you don't have that autograph on there anymore. And I don't know what kind of value that autograph adds to being on the slab itself. I'm assuming some, because the artist held the slab, which is pretty cool. But I just want to say that it comes with a couple of options, which I think is helpful to the eventual bidder, I would say. Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, I was actually going to comment on that post that you just brought up, which is interesting. I think we will, we're going to hit the Magic stuff tonight for sure. But I don't think, it's not going to be more than 5% of what we're talking about tonight, but it's really, this is an important moment. Like, it really is for these guys. And so, we would be doing wrong if we didn't, if we didn't acknowledge that. The only thing that I would add to the Christopher Rush part that's really important is he passed away several years ago. And so when the artist is gone, and you think about, again, if you think about that card, that is the Magic card. And so there's only a few of these in the world. So yeah, big moment.
Well, he also said, fan123, I say he or she says that Luca Tiger Stripe is also very interesting. And but fan123 says anyone that collects cards should at least know about the best cards in all card games. Right. Black Lotus is iconic. Now, I mean, I understand the sentiment, but I don't know, like, if I only collect hockey cards, or I only collect baseball or basketball, I don't think you need to know about TCG just because you collect any sport. But if you're interested in the hobby overall, then I definitely agree with that comment. And hey, I don't collect it, but I certainly know about it. I know about Charizard. I know about Red Dragon, Blue Eyes, or whatever it is in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know about it. I don't know its name exactly, but I'm somewhat aware of its existence. Zed says, and lose the auto. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's an option. If you don't care about that auto, it's not on the card, it's on the holder, then you may want the option to lose it. We have someone on Facebook. Good evening. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Click the big blue button, or just come watch on YouTube, please. Okay. Well, anything else on this first group of 8, Adam, that you'd like to shed some light on?
We have to talk about the Trout. I talked about this being a moment for Magic the Gathering. This is also a moment for Beckett. If you think about really key Black Label cards, there's not too many in the world that I think really stand out more than this. Really ask yourself the question real quick, Jeremy. What Black Label cards are most significant? In most cases, there's 0 Black Labels in the card. And then in some cases, you'll get, like, we talked about a hockey card last week that there were several of. There was a Crosby up that there was like 30 or 40 of them. This is a card, though, that everybody knows in the hobby. It's on the Iconic 100 list. I think it was somewhere in the 40s. And it has, I think, 7 parallels. Across all 7 parallels, almost 1,500 of these cards have been graded. There's 1 Black Label. Now, some people say buy the card, not the grade. They don't care about those things. But a lot of people want the best condition card. This is the best condition Mike Trout card from the Bowman Chrome product in existence. That includes all of the parallels. There's only 1. It's less than 1/10 of 1% graded as a Black Label. And some people see that and they say that is one of the most important Mike Trout cards in existence. And so I think we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize this as just being a huge card.
And it's at $75,000 right now. So that's $90 after buyer's premium. Okay. I'm going to shine the light on this Mickey Mantle right here because I love the card. I said it in the pre-show. I want to be transparent. When I talk about a card, if I own a copy of it, I'm just going to tell you I own it. I have a copy of this card. I've had it since 2006. It's a PSA 6, and I love the Mantle rookie It's not the 52 tops. I acknowledge the 52 tops is more iconic, and there's 2 of them in the auction tonight. We'll look at them too. But this to me is just a beautiful card, SGC 7.5. And if I'm going to just tell you what I see in this card, first of all, the centering is very strong, but as you can see, it's not perfect. It's shifted a little bit down, a little bit to the left. Also, you'll notice that the registration isn't perfect. It has some blur. Very often, you'll notice that it's just a tighter look on the face. It's more focused, but still, this is still a beautiful copy, even with a slight registration issue. And then you see a little fisheye in the name bar, which we're going to see on the Willie Mays as well. Yep. You know, I don't love that, but you know, it's not a deal breaker for me on this particular copy. So I love this card. What's it sitting at right now? It's sitting at $65,000 pre-buyer's premium. It's got the PWCC eye appeal rating, top 30%. And I personally haven't seen enough of this card in an SGC 7.5 to opine on the eye appeal designation myself, but I'm going to go with it. I love the card. It's important. And if you're looking for a Mantle at this price point, I think you're in good here with this one. So I really like it. JG says, is my PSA 6 better? Registration wise, yes, but I think edges, corners, centering, probably not. I'd have to pull it out to compare it, JG, but thank you for asking. All right, Jay-Z in the house. Good evening, Jonathan Zavarella, who will be at the Expo in Toronto. I know that for sure. Going to be hanging out with me. Fan123 says Black Label Trout. You don't see that very often. And then this copy from Vintage says, in relation to knowing about matter, know about it, okay. Care about it, nope. And that's fair too, right? We only care about, no one's going to pressure you to care about something that you aren't caring about. Tyler, welcome, says, well, we aren't sure it's the best condition trout in the hobby. It's just the one that got the highest grade. Sure. That's a very, very fair comment there, Tyler. One that I certainly agree with. And Jonathan says, good luck to all bidding. I've got one I'm bidding on. Jay-Z, are you going to tell us which one it is? No pressure, but if you want to tell us, please let us know. I mean, other than the Mantle, which I just talked about, Adam's talked about the Lotus. He's talked about the Trout. I mean, we have a beautiful Steph Curry NT RPA BGS 9 with a sick patch, one of the nicer patches. Love it. And then, of course, you've got a rookie year, LeBron James limited logos. I want to take a closer look at him before we go on that autograph and just see how tight it is. And yeah, I mean, that autograph, I'm gonna try and zoom in a bit more here, guys. Let's just get a better look at it. First of all, I love the patch, and the autograph looks, you know, it looks really nice. It's, you know, couple, I don't know if minor, only because you're zoomed in, but this is a nice bold autograph. So one that I'd be happy to own out of 75. Really cool patch.
Yeah, great color too. Really great color. And you know, it's certainly one of those that you look at and you go, yeah, that's a 10 autograph, no question.
Yeah, for sure. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Okay, let's scroll down, Adam, and go. Oh, hold on a second. Before we do, Vintage says, can we discuss the auto grade on the Steph? It's just not a 10, goes off the signing area, top and bottom, and actually discolors the patch. Well, let's take a quick peek. And I'll share my thoughts. And Adam, of course, you're welcome to as well. So the autograph, I'd have to go into it. I'm assuming the autograph got a grade of 10, but that would be on the back of the card. Adam, can you confirm, or does it say right here? It doesn't say here.
I believe it does.
Here.
Let's make sure before we say anything and then we regret it. I'll go in and find it on mine.
Yeah, 10 auto right there. Okay, I'm going to close that quickly. Go back here. So the auto's got a 10. And I don't know if Beckett and PSA grade autographs differently, but yeah, this piece here, and this isn't off the card. So this I don't think is a penalty, or should be. This, I guess, could be. It looks like some ink got on the patch. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I don't think I would love that, but at the end of the day, I don't know the answer to that, Vintage. I mean, what are Beckett's standards on autograph grades? I don't think PSA would have given that the same grade, because it does come off the writing surface and into the patch window. But outside of this business up here, the autograph that is on the white is absolutely stunning and bold and nice and bright blue. Adam, any comments from your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's a great. I think he's exactly right. The top of the autograph hitting the patch to me is a flaw, and so I would have expected to see a 9 autograph on it. The part I agree with you. Disagree that the autograph going into the black below is an issue. I don't believe that it is, especially because these National Treasures cards didn't give a lot of room for signing, and so I'd rather see a larger autograph that goes into the black area a little bit. If the area was larger, then I would maybe agree with him. It's kind of like what we talked about with the Wilt Chamberlain a couple of episodes ago, Jeremy, where there's a huge area, and then when he goes into the black or into the darker area, that's sort of frowned on. But in this case, that's not the case. The only thing that I'll add here I think it's important to recognize this is that the Steph Curry patch, along with all of the big RPAs, sometimes people have to stand back a little bit and go, okay, am I 100% sure that everything about this card is authentic, right? Including the patch and the autograph. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of those things be altered through the years. This is one of those where you actually don't need to worry about that, which is really nice. The autograph goes onto the patch, so you know that the patch and the autograph are both real in that case. So that's sort of looking on the bright side a little bit, and some people might scoff at that or laugh at that a little bit because certainly from a visual perspective, but it is kind of cool to know that he touched it and that, that he ran onto it and that sort of he didn't sign it and then they put the patch in afterwards. They took the completed card, put it in front of him and had him sign it. And there's only 99 of them. And that is one of the nicest patches that you'll see on it. So those are some of the sort of brighter parts of that card.
Is this out of 99? It says Century Gold up here. And I see
Diamond. Out of 25. Out of 25.
Out of 25. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and just to put a bow on my comment and on our comments on the autograph, it's definitely not the preference to have it like this, but it depends what your priorities are, because look, here's a comment from Fan123. He says, it's an on-card auto, so that's all that matters to me. And there are people that share that opinion. But at the same time, I think Beckett messed up the grade on this one and shouldn't give it a 10. That said, I also am in agreement with Jameson Riley, who says everyone's an expert on autograph grading. He says, I've never agreed with BGS upcharging for the service. I mean, I just personally don't need my autographs graded. My eyes can tell me if I like the autograph or not. With cards, it's a bit different. There's more nuance and subtlety, but I hear you, Jameson, for sure. Diamond says, not his best auto for sure, but incredible patch. Yes. Tom Newman, welcome, says BGS having lower standards. What's new? Okay. Caesar says, not a 10 auto. So I think the other thing is that I think these standards were developing over time. So I'm not willing to throw Beckett under the bus on this completely, because I think that the grading standards on autos have evolved over time. Now, I could be off on this. This might have been the most recently graded autograph card they've done. But if it wasn't, I'm willing to cut them a little slack, even though maybe I shouldn't.
Gosh, this is such a good point. I'm glad you bring it up. Look at the whole of the autograph. It's bold. It's blue. It doesn't skip. It's got a lot going for it, right? It's all on the card. And I'm with what everybody else is saying, but this card was graded in the 7s. See in the serial number? It's in the 7s. That's 10 years ago. The world's changed in the last 10 years. It just has. And so, would it still be a 10 today? Maybe not. I'm not sure. But it does have elements of on the autograph that you go, okay, I kind of understand what they're doing there, but I certainly see where the sort of commenters are coming from. And I think it's a good conversation about it. One thing's for sure, I would just love to have a Steph Curry National Treasures rookie card. Across all the different variations, there's 130 of them, right? 130. It's a card that is, I think, if I was to ask you the question, Jeremy, in fact, I'll just ask you right now.
Yeah.
Is there a more iconic card from the Panini era?
I mean, I don't know that I could just answer that right now. I mean, maybe.
Does anything come to mind?
Huh?
Does anything come to mind?
No, nothing comes to mind. I mean, no, I'll give it. Yeah, probably this card here. Steph to me is in line with, MJ, LeBron. He's of that importance in changing the game. I mean, he's a tier lower, but he's up there still. I can't what is most important to me? Where does my eye go? When I look at this card, where do my eyes go? And the more I look at it, my eyes are going right to here, right to here. That's where they're going. They should go to his face. They should go to the patch. They should go to the auto, and they do, but they also go to this kind of conglomerate of stuff. And, that's not where I'd want my eyes to go. So, I don't know. I may wait for a different copy of this card, but there's only 25 chances. So, and let's face it, this isn't a card for everybody. What's it sitting at right now? It's already at $80,000. That's $96,000 after buyer's premium. So, to the people that are going to buy this card, I would expect this to be a lot higher actually for what it is, and maybe the autograph is hurting it as it is, and someone's going to get a deal on one of these tonight.
That's right, and that's the way that I look at it, Jeremy. Is that look, no matter what we say about it, it's not the preferred thing. Yeah. But if you're in the market for that card, you've got 130 of them total. Maybe you get the card for cheaper because of that. That could be something that somebody's like excited about. And so I hate it when we poo-poo cards that are like that people are like super excited about. And yeah, again, if I had the chance to get that card in my collection, and what I had to sort of give way on a little bit is the quality of that little bit of the autograph. I personally would love to have that card in my collection. So probably enough said about that.
So Jameson took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say as far as iconic Panini era cards would be 2012 Prism Golds would be. That's where my mind was going. And I know you have a Kobe. That's where my mind was going, Jameson Riley as well. LGC says we should point out the Curry jersey patch is event worn. It is noted, LGC. It'll say that right on the back of the card. So that's not a secret. In as far as the card goes, Jay-Z, thank you so much. I'm not sure that was the right word, but we went with it. Santino says more iconic Luka Doncic national treasures. I don't think so. No. He's not even close to Steph Curry as far as career goes at this point.
Our book that we've got right over here, Jeremy, it tells us Luka came in at 77, and which is really strong. Some people hated seeing Luka even make the list, but he did. And Steph was in the 30s. Yeah. So, and I asked you that question, by the way, Jeremy, I already know it was ranked as the most iconic Panini era card. So I'm glad we took some time on that one.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense. Stale Prod says game worn is the best, but I rather have player worn than non-worn patch at all. LeBron's RPAs photo shoot event worn.
That's
which
right.
is still player worn. All right, here we go. The next grouping of 8. I'm going to go first, Adam, because there's one card in this group that I'm absolutely in love with. And that is, do you want to guess which one? I want you to see if you can guess which one it is, Adam.
Well, there's two that are possible. It's either the Mantle or the Maze, and I believe it's the Maze. I think you love the Maze.
It's the Maze, guys. This is an SGC 8, Willie Mays, 53 tops, third-year card, second-year tops. It's at $44,000. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness, what a beauty. I've said this before. I'm gonna try to be consistent with this for all of time. I think this is the nicest vintage baseball card on the planet from a design, aesthetic, and image perspective. I love the full body pose. I love the way his face looks. I just love the looks of this card. I've never owned a copy. I would love to own a copy. This one's out of my range, so I'm not going to be making a play at it, but look at these edges. Look at these corners. The one knock against all 53 tops baseball cards is this border where the name bar is at the bottom, because all of a sudden you've got, white border to black. And it's, as we all know, it's a lot easier to see edge surface wear or edge wear when we're looking at a colored border, especially a black one. So we do see this rough cut sort of, but doesn't bother me. If I was in the market for a $50,000 card tonight, I would certainly be going after this one. I could look at this thing all day. Like, Adam, look at this. Is a piece of art. I love it. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I love this darn card. I mean, am I off my rocker or what?
No, it's one of those things that you sort of don't ever appreciate until you really just take a second to really look at it. And I think you did a great job. It's the sky behind him. It's the field behind him. It's his pose, his look on his face, the colors. The whole thing is fantastic. And then the design work that's added around it. You and I are in a vintage group together where I showed this card off before it went up for auction. And one of the commenters said, look at that name, that box down there, that could be nicer. And I think you and I probably both have the same recognition, which is, yeah, you can see the light around the edge there. That's what you get when you have a full bleed edge. You just do. And so, looking at the whole of the card, every aspect of it, I forget, does it have an eye appeal sticker on it, Jeremy?
I don't know. Let's have a look over here. It does. Exceptional.
Yeah.
Top 15%.
Yeah.
And I mean that I'm not surprised. I think that's
just
fair.
Beautiful. Like, it's the colors to this. And I always tell you, I'm colorblind, but the colors on this card, like, I just look at that and I say exactly what you said. Like, that is a piece of art. And so those of us who are in this group right now, all the people who are sort of joined, most of the people who are here are modern collectors. But if you haven't really looked at vintage before and you haven't said, okay, why is this appealing? Why is this neat? Go look at 20 other Willie Mays 1953 Topps cards and then compare them and see if you can notice the difference in all of the different technical aspects of the card. And what I'm guessing will happen is you'll look at it and you'll come back to this one and you'll go, I get it. That's really nice.
And it just is. A couple comments here before we move on from it. Mitch says the most iconic Panini card ever is the 1970 Pelé. I mean, I just got a strong disagree with that, Mitch. I understand that it might be an important card, but I don't know very many people who could actually tell you what it looks like. And that's what iconic means to me, is something that represents a lot of other things. And I strong disagree with that, but not to take away from its importance, or your opinion of it is completely valid. To you, it may be, but I think overall it's not even in the top 10 or 20 most iconic Panini cards ever. It is my opinion. Santino, if it was my card, it would not be for sale. Trust me. If I owned that card, it would be with me for at least 25 more years. Collector's Dream lets us know that it's also a short print. T-Dot tells me to buy it. It's an asset. You like it that much. Yeah, but I like other things too, T-Dot. I can't just go spend $50K on this card tonight, but thank you. Foul Five Ball. Yeah, me too. Wish it was mine as well. Love watching Jeremy lose his religion. Love it. Jay-Z says vintage is so amazing. The journey of each card, how it survived. And I know you collect. Jay-Z collects some nice vintage cards himself. Adam, is there a card here that you would like to highlight?
Well, before I do, there is, but before I do, the only thing I wanted to highlight there too about the Mays is, sometimes we look at cards like this and we say, oh my goodness, it's going to sell for that much. I could never afford that. But one of the things that we talked about earlier in the show, or maybe it was even in the pre-show, is sometimes you look at a card and you have to ask the question, is there something in my collection that I could sell that I need less than that thing? And that could get me to that thing. And so, I can't imagine what's it at right now. It's a little small to me. Is it 55 grand?
Yes.
So I couldn't imagine going and spending 70 grand on a card right now. But if I found a card that I liked enough that I could then take other cards from my collection and sort of replace it, I think that's how you get there. Most of us can't just go throw 70 grand at a card, right? Like I know I can't. Okay. So the card that I wanted to point out today is a card that we often pass over because we have it every month, but we haven't had it for a few months. And that's the Michael Jordan PSA 10, which in this case has the PWCC eye appeal sticker. So what's it at right now? Is it 170?
Yes, it is.
So that means, again, this is another situation where you can see that a nicer 10, one that has the Mike Baker sticker here, and it's getting the PWCC eye appeal top 15%. That is selling for a premium, right? We've seen PSA 10s that have sold for less than this over the course of the last few months. But then also at the same time, so we always talk about multiple variables, right? Dissecting the multiple variables. One thing is we saw them for a long time, and then we saw a break. That's variable number one that's playing into this. And then variable number two is this isn't just a PSA 10 Jordan rookie. It's not just one of the 319. It's one of the nicer examples. And so you combine those two sort of variables together, and what you have is now, here it is. It's over $200,000 again. And although it's not a card that I personally have ever sort of thought about buying in this grade, I can tell you it's the most talked about basketball card still in the world. And so however this does or doesn't do, people will be talking about it afterwards.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a huge card. It's nice to see that the finest copies of this card can exceed the recent comps on any old PSA 10. We saw a copy of this card sell for $840,000 about a year or so ago, if I remember correctly. It exceeded those ones that sold for $720,000. There were 2 of them that night in January of 2021. So I would expect this to sell to keep going up tonight, is what I think. Now, when I look at the card, it's not a perfect card, but it's certainly very nice, very nice. And when I say it's not perfect, I'm going to nitpick for a second. And I just want to point out a slight registration issue. I think you guys can see a little gap here between the red border and the black border. It's like the yellow came over a bit to the other side of the black. And so, you're going to see, you see a little bit in here as well. But, I'm just sort of being nitpicky there. And I'm a registration snob, so that might have a bit to do with it. But I certainly am not doubting either of the eye appeal designations by the Mike Baker sticker or by the PWCC eye appeal designation.
No.
This card does jump at you as being not like its contemporary cousins.
No, I think what you're saying is fair. Whenever I think sometimes people sometimes paint with really broad strokes, right? They'll hear somebody say something that's counter to something meaning perfect, and they'll think you're dinging it. You're not doing that. You're looking at the card. Well, congratulations. Like, there's no perfect Jordan rookie in the world, right? There's not a black label. It doesn't exist. And so the fact that this has that, well, then let's look at the other sort of subgrades. Let's look at the corners. Let's look at the edges. Let's look at the centering. And I think what we're going to find is that this is probably nicer on those other elements than the average PSA 10 Jordan is. And I think you're right. It does jump at you as being really nice. And I think that's mostly to do with centering. What do you think?
Yeah, the centering is bang on, and they're not all bang on. So I did notice the centering as well. The edges, it's a great copy. So yeah, that card is going to make somebody happy. It's still the most iconic card in sports cards, or at least a top 3. Going to go to some comments before we move on. T-Dot in comment about the 53 May says it's like the 70 top set. Yeah, the 71s, T-Dot, not the 70s, the 71s. But yes, good call out there for sure. Derico says from an international angle, the Pele is pretty iconic. And I'm not doubting that or taking nothing away from it, but sports cards are mostly a North American hobby. It's stickers over there. I mean, it just over there being international everywhere but North America pretty much. So listen, I don't mean to take anything away from that important Pele card, please. I hope you guys caught that. Hockey Cards loves the maze. Jeff says, the more I look at the maze, it's almost like 3D and pulls you in. Jeff, it's a sick card. Absolutely love it. Hockey Cards, if you have time, I'll let a breakdown. Yeah, of course, we're going to talk about the Gretzky. We'll see about the McDavid, but we'll try to. And Decoy says, whoever was the artist for the maze did a fantastic job of capturing the memory of baseball, sunbeaming on the face, common pose, long shadows, grass, and the fence. It's a fantastic image. I mean, that's it. It's a fantastic image. That's why I love it so much. Let's talk about this Mantle, the actual Mickey Mantle, number 1 iconic card in the hobby, 52 tops, PSA 4. This is a great card. It's sitting at $75,000 right now. It's off-centered to the bottom, a little bit to the right. It's got some clockwise tilt going on. This border up here is narrower than this border down here, and the opposite on this side over here. But it's a 4. I think it's a properly graded 4. Very nice image, good bold color. I don't know what there's two versions of this card. Not everybody knows that, but this is, I think, the type 2 or the B, where it has, and I'll show you what that means if people don't know. Look at all the copies you can find. They do not all have the bottom black border on this square where the Yankees logo is. This bottom black logo is often missing on the copies of the card, and I think there's something else that happens down here as well. So this is the version I prefer. I want my card to be complete as it was intended. Yeah. And so I think this is it's a beauty. When it comes to the 52 tops Mantle, you got to find your comfort zone in like the 1 to 4 range, and even the 4s are $100,000 or more. So go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I can't believe we didn't talk about this in pre-show. There's a 3.5 up right now that has an high appeal sticker. And I wonder, do you want to go through and look at those and compare the two and see? I'd be really interested to see which of the two you prefer. I haven't done it yet myself, but usually when we have this situation, we sort of go back and forth on it a little bit.
Yeah, let me see if I had it teed up here, and I'm not using this little method I had anymore, but there it is. So let's just bring it over here. Let's bring it all the way over to where we were, and then I can go back and forth really quick. So there's the 4. Yeah, I mean, the difference is obvious right away. The 3.5, the 3.5 is way better centering. It's also got the line on the bottom. So these are both, this is the rarer type, I believe, from what I've seen. I see way fewer that have this bottom border on the logo. But what this doesn't have is a nice surface, and it doesn't have gloss, and it doesn't have a bold color anymore. You can see, I mean, I'll zoom in, but I'm sure everybody can see it. You see a lot of kind of snow happening, and that's just surface wear from this card surface rubbing up against other cards. That's what that is over the years. So, you know, you got to pick what you prefer. What's more important to you? Is it the centering, which this card, like, it's not perfect top to bottom, it's off, but I don't mind top to bottom centering being off if the left to right is almost perfect, which this one is almost perfect compared to this one. I mean, come on, it's not even close. This image far superior to this one, like it's night and day. But this card centering is, you know, it's not what you want to look at, where this one is. So I would go with this one, because to me, surface and image is so much more important than centering. But I would probably just, you know, yeah, I'd go with the 4 for sure over the 3.5.
Okay. I was going to say that's a great take. I want to point out to everyone, the reason that Jeremy brings up the images the way that he does, rather than just clicking on the item, is that whenever you get 2 people on a StreamYard like this, and then you have the website and you know, the PWCC site is really robust. You've got videos of every card and all this stuff that goes on. If he clicks on that, it really slows us down. But I would be really interested to know from the comments, if you look at the backs of the cards, would you feel the same way that Jeremy does? Would you take the 4 over the 3.5? I personally haven't looked at them. I don't have an opinion, but I'd be really interested to know in the comments, if you really compare the two, toggle back and forth between the two, which of the two do you think is nicer?
Yeah. That's a fair question to put out there. I'll answer it. For me, I'm not going to care as much about the back, because the back will have to be within the standards of the 3.5 or the 4. And as long as there's no paper loss on the back, even if there's a little bit, if there's like, you know, a pea-sized bit of paper loss on the back, I'm going to be okay with it, because I spend 95% of my time looking at the front of cards. So that's where I fall at him. I think that's a really great question to ask.
Yeah, I think, you know, if I got to see both of them in hand, I think, if I remember right, there might be something just a little bit on the top edge of one of the two. But they're both phenomenal. And every time I get to see one of these in hand, go listen to the video breakdown. If you're on your phone, or, you know, if you can just click over and look at it real quick. On at least the 4, I got to see that one in hand. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to see one of those cards in hand.
All right. So before we go down to the next, I'm going to put them in our view, the next 8, and I'm going to do some comments. Ryan says, why is the Connor so high? Well, we'll get to the Connor McDavid, I think is what you're talking about. Adam Rip says, Kobe Bryant Noir Tag Auto is most iconic card, I think.
So I was laughing about this. Welcome to Adam, by the way. I don't think we've had Adam in our chat before. Adam's a big time collector, and I love to hear him say that. I think if I remember right, Adam tried to acquire. I have the card that he's talking about. He's totally razzing me right now. It's one of my favorite.
Okay.
Cards. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah, because I was going to say I couldn't even tell you what it looks like, so I don't think it's the most iconic card. But Adam, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Okay. Ryan says, I don't know much about hockey, but I was like, it's a base. Okay. Yeah, vintage would take the 4 as well. Collector's Dream lets us know that both Mantle versions are equally printed, both on the same sheet. Then I just can't explain why. When I look at a lot of them, it's like I see the one without the line 2-to-1 almost to the one with it, and maybe because people that have the card with the full border just want to keep it, so that could be it as well. Good stuff there. Thank you, Collector's Dream, for letting us know how they were printed. Collector's Dream says 52 Mantle and Jackie cards, both double printed high numbers, both have 2 versions. Interesting. Very well. And Adam Rip says, I still remember seeing that one at the Atlantic City National a long time back. The last one was 2017 before last year, right? 2017?
I think I went 2018 and 2019. Adam was like 11 years old. Just kidding, Adam. Just kidding. Okay. I remember those were different days, man. Those were different days. We were talking about stuff being worth 1/5 of what it is today.
So here we go. The last group of 8 on the first page. We have some, we got 2 Magic the Gathering cards. We got a set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards here. We've got a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out graded Nintendo game. And I tell you, it took me about 3 weeks to beat the master, or the main guy on this thing back in 1987 or whatever it was. I was so good at Nintendo back in the day. You guys would be impressed. And then we have a Babe Ruth autographed baseball, Lou Gehrig as well. It says so, dual signed, JSA letter of authentication, $11,000 right now. I love the look of this ball. I love the color of the leather. I love how old it looks. And so that's a pretty cool piece. I don't collect that kind of thing, but I know a lot of people do. And Babe Ruth balls, even though they're not all that rare, are basically the 52 tops Mickey Mantle of collecting autographed baseball. So really cool card. I don't really have much to say on this group of 8. Adam, how about you?
Well, the thing that I'll say about this group is that a lot of times when we go through and we like try to say which is my favorite or what do I want to talk about, there's something that really appeals to us. But I think what this group does is you can look at it and say, oh my goodness, the auction's so diverse, right? Within this little frame of 8, we have basketball, baseball, Type 1 photographs, Magic the Gathering, and multiple cards, best Yu-Gi-Oh set that exists probably in the world, a video game, and an autographed baseball. Like it's everything all in one sort of screen. The thing that is really appealing to me on the screen, though, I would invite anybody who's really into vintage right now who hasn't looked at Type 1 photographs to start doing their diligence on that, if it's something that you might be interested in. And when you think about Shoeless Joe, you're talking about one of the guys who's really the most iconic from that era in all of sports, but particularly in the world of baseball and the world of baseball cards. And so I know as we were getting ready for this auction, this was I don't know a lot about Type 1 photographs, so I need to take my own advice. But I know as we were getting ready for it, there were a lot of people internally at PWCC who were really excited to see how this particular photo did. And so what's it at right now, Jeremy? Is it
$20,000 right now?
20. Okay. So it'd be interesting to see what it does tonight. But, I think that it's mostly unexplored, the Type 1 photographs compared to our world of sports cards. And it's kind of exciting to see where it'll go in the future.
I've done a couple shows on Type 1 photos on my Collectible Live show with experts in the field, and they're very passionate about it. I think they're cool. I've never delved into the world of Type 1, Type 2 original photos, but what I can say about this one here is that this is the best look I've ever had at Joe Jackson to know what the guy actually looked like. Because from a card perspective, they're usually painted versions of photographs. This, I feel like, okay, so that's what this guy looked like. That's pretty cool. Am I going to go spend $20,000 so I can remind myself every day what he looked like? No, but I don't collect these, and those that do will. That's pretty cool. I wanted to just bring up, because we have a comment here by Newt Stew, says that full set of Yu-Gi-Oh is insane. Listen, I don't know anything about this. I know that White Dragon Blue Eyes is very important. That's this one here. But I wanted to just zoom in a little bit and just take a look at the art on these cards. And I mean, they are pretty cool. Is this like a right leg and that's a left leg? Is that what? Oh, look at that. 2 legs. There's 2 arms. This thing probably fits together and creates a person. If you put this is like a puzzle, I think. I just know. I mean, I know nothing, but that's what that looks like to me. Maybe that's the chest in the middle right there. Really cool. I like the artwork, but there's no nostalgic value in this to me.
It's not just these 10 cards either. It's a huge set. I did the video on it. Go watch the video. Every single card is a PSA 10, and a lot of these cards have only been graded a few times. And so, I think we all know the Blue Eyes White Dragon card that you were talking about. That's like sort of the recognizable Yu-Gi-Oh card. But for big time Yu-Gi-Oh collectors, again, this is a real moment for them because we've never seen this set in a PSA 10 sell before, the whole thing. So yeah, it'll be fun to see what it does.
All right. Well, let's skip ahead to the next page. And Jeff Hart says, I'm a sucker for centering, but still might go with the 4. I think you have to in that case, Jeff. That 3.5, the surface is just not nice enough, in my opinion. For me, he says, probably neither are ideal, but I can be picky when I'm just dreaming. Yeah, that's definitely true. 450 says, when are we going to see a tag graded card in the Premier Auction? Yeah, the more you ask PWCC, the sooner that they will accept it. That's not a tag thing. That's a PWCC thing at the moment. Anyway, Nutsu says Exoida. Don't know what that means. That's probably a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah.
And Vintage says, are Type 1 photos given a grade or just marketed authentic? Good question. I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but let's see. This one is just marked authentic. So can't answer that at the moment, Vintage. Okay, Adam. Next group of 8 does include the 3.5, which does have an exceptional eye appeal rating. That's got to be the centering, which I think is worthy of it. But Adam, there's a dream card of mine on this page. We're gonna play the game. Can you guess which is the dream card for me? It's not like my number one card that I want, but it's a card that I would love to own. And it's like I dream to own it one day. Which one do you think it is?
It's the Playmakers Theater.
Yeah, gosh, you know me too well. It's this one right here. It's the Michael Jordan Playmakers Theater. I do love Playmakers Theaters, guys. I do have the Shaquille O'Neal from the same set. These cards, if you've never had one in hand, are way nicer than this image makes it look to be. There's embossing. It's a glossy finish. It's shiny. It's so much nicer than this image looks. We're not going to go in, but if you go on the PWCC site and you do the 360 image of this, you'll see what I'm talking about. I also have a couple. I have the Dan Marino in football and a bunch of the hockey ones that came out, 15 years later, which are still nice. But I love the card. It's a BGS 9.5. I would love to pair it with my Shaquille O'Neal. I did notice that Jeff Hart says Teddy Ballgame, talking about the Ted Williams. Jeff, that would be a dream card, but I fulfilled that dream. I believe in 2016 at the National, I bought myself a very strong PSA 5 copy of the Ted Williams rookie. So I already have a copy of it that I'm more than happy with. But yes, that's obviously a Mantle's a dream card too, but Adam, you nailed it there for sure. Ryan says the Babe Ruth is really nice. And I noticed on a PWCC post today that this is the highest graded version of this card to sell since I think 2021. So 2 years or so. Wow. It's a great card. It's a Sport Kings card, which is a multi-sport series that came out in 1933, but it's a pretty sweet looking card. I'm going to turn it over to you now to speak about anything else in this grouping that you'd like to.
Before I do, if I remember, didn't Babe Ruth retire in 1933? Does that sound familiar to you?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think that's right. And so it's kind of cool because it makes it a playing days card. I think that card's just, it's one of those cards that makes me want to get into vintage more. It's just beautiful. As we look at this group of 8, man, the Steph is a second year logo man autograph. And that's incredible. The LeBron is, a BGS 10. The whole everything here is unreal. We talked a little bit about the Jordan. I own the Jordan in a BGS 8, and it's one of my favorite cards. And so I could talk about that one all day. It's one of the premier inserts from the 90s of Jordan. But
well, we have to talk about this for a moment.
That's what I was gonna say. The Griffey is the card that we have to talk about, though, because Ryan Burkhart's asking about it. What makes it special? And because Griffey doesn't have sort of this huge amount of really important cards from his career, right? His canon of important cards, really, like, obviously you have the rookies. Everybody knows about the rookies. Those aren't rare, right? In any grade, they're not rare. I guess some of them are, in super high grade. But then you go throughout the early 90s and the mid 90s, there's really nothing there that's ultra rare and difficult to find. But you get to 1997, 98, and you get to the serial numbered stuff that we've seen really jumping in value recently. You also look at like some of these game used autographs. Upper Deck, this is, I believe, Jeremy, it's the second or it's the third year. Gosh, I should know this. I feel bad. It was the first year that Upper Deck in baseball did jersey autographs. Was that 97 or was that 98? Do you know?
I mean, 97 was the first jersey card in baseball, I believe. So probably was 98, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. Maybe
Love to
someone in
know.
the chat knows, is this the first auto jersey baseball set ever made? And is this this being the Griffey, the 24/24? I mean, that's pretty cool. It's jersey numbered.
It's not the first jersey auto. I know there's at least one before this. I think it's more like that Gretzky we talked about a few months ago with Karn. But look, 24 out of 24 is a huge deal. Beautiful autograph. Griffey's got one of the nicest autographs in the world. And you're talking about a card that's 24 years old that is really, one of his key cards. And so awesome, Griffey.
So sitting at $27,000 right now. So all right, let's go to the next group of 8. We have a lion card here. That is a serious looking lion from Magic the Gathering. Lots of Magic in the auction tonight. There's the Luka RPA that was tossed around in the most iconic conversation 20 minutes ago. This is an iconic image right here. We have a Charizard and a CGC 9.5 holder. That looks to be a first edition shadowless. I do know what that all means. There's your SGA logo, man, Adam. I know you talked about that in the pre-show. Nothing here that really tickles my fancy. And I just want everyone to know, I very rarely use the term tickles my fancy. I don't know if I've ever used it before just now, but hey, it felt right. The timing just felt right. So I went with it. I just went with it. But Adam, is there anything in these 8, in this group of 8? I mean, there's a bird card, Birds of Paradise. That's pretty cool. An erupting volcano. Anything here that you'd like to shine a light on?
Man, I've talked about all of them. I want to talk about all of them. If I have to talk about one of them, it has to be the Shea. Think about it like this, Jeremy. The other card that is sold from the set recently that was a huge deal from this exact same set, same year, was the Luka, right? And you and I covered that auction when it sold for $3.5 million. And here we are looking at this card. Like, are we sure? Are we sure that Luka's 10 times or 20 times or something? It doesn't make sense to me. Like Shea's one of the few guys in the league who's averaging over 30 a game. I think, aren't the Thunder winning as many games at this point as the Mavericks are? Please don't think I'm saying that Shea is Luka, but Shea's amazing. Like, he's a budding superstar in the NBA, and this is his best card. It might also be the best modern basketball card the SGC's ever graded. And I don't mean that in any sort of funny way. Like, this is a huge card, and it's graded well. It's beautiful in hand. We've talked a lot about logo men, RPAs, and what we like and what we don't like. What I will tell you that I love about this one is they got the holofoil right, which really brings this card together and makes it present exceptionally well in hand.
Well, for the hockey, vintage hockey people watching right now, I noticed the red border on the right side. What does that remind you guys of? 3-2-1, the 55 Parker Jacques Plante rookie has that same sort of red edge to it, red border. Yeah, it's a sweet card. You know what? You asked, is Luka really 10 times SGA? And the hobby works like that, though. Just because he may not be, he's obviously not 10 times better, but can he be 10 times more valuable? Yeah, he can be, just because more and more people from a status perspective want the best of the best, what everybody else wants. That's where competition and ego can come into play. And that's a big part of the market. So, okay. Let's go to the next group of 8, Adam. There's another Black Lotus. This one's at $85,000. This is a big grouping. We have 2 Michael Jordan limited logos from different years, 05 exquisite and 06 exquisite. So someone has the opportunity to knock 2 Jordan limited logos off their want list. 26K here, 46K here. I must say those numbers seem very low to me relative to what these were selling for a year ago. I know everybody, we're in a different market now than we were a year ago, but you still can't help but compare to what it was then. I mean, these seem to be coming back down to that more reasonable levels. 26,000, 46,000 is still a ton of money, but you're getting among the best possible cards there. And then we have a PSA 9 Wayne Gretzky 1979 tops. I mean, this is a card that, I love to look at. We're going to just take a quick look at this one. Centering, it's off center. It's a bit more to the right, this border being narrower than the left. Does it have tilt? I don't think so. I maybe a slight clockwise tilt. Registration, corners, edges, perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, this thing is beautiful. The centering, if it was better centered, this I think is a 10 all day long. That's why it's not. That's why it's a 9. I think it's a very, very nice 9. And I say that owning a copy of this in my own collection. And yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful piece, beautiful card sitting at $36K right now. Adam, I've said my piece on this page. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Michael Jordan 1998 Upper Deck jersey autograph. Just a card that I love. There's several versions of it. There's not just 23. I think there's 8 different cards. And that's why it doesn't sell for like, $500,000 or whatever, but it's the first Bulls Jordan jersey autograph. I think the autograph on this one, which is graded a 9, it's because there's a little skip in the autograph. When I was looking at it in hand, I could see just this tiny little skip. But to me, I think that's just a part of the card that's sort of a little bit of a different surface. It doesn't offend me in any sort of way. I would argue that as far as like autographs that I've seen on this particular card, that's the nicest one that I've seen. I care a lot about autograph color. And a lot of these Jordan autographs from 25 years ago, they've seen a lot of light in their day, but this one has been really well preserved. I would just love to own that card.
Yeah, I agree with you. I care about autograph color a lot more than the odd missing, skip or whatever. That doesn't bother me either. So yeah, this is a really, really cool card. I also think that because the autograph is graded a 9 and not a 10, that should save somebody some money, because I'll tell you what, wouldn't change my bidding. I'd bid just as much for this one. If this said 9 or 10, I'm bidding the same, because I personally don't care what a grading company grades an autograph. I'm going to grade it myself. What do I like when I'm looking at a card? The other problem with autograph grades is that autographs do fade if people don't store them properly, and the grade just becomes wrong. So I just don't agree with the concept of slabbing a grading an autograph. But that said, a lot of people do. A lot of people love it. And so I'm okay with it from that perspective. It's a part of the hobby. But yeah, great card you called out there, Adam. Let's go to the next. Oh, okay. We're at the end of the page. So I'm going to go to page 3. And while it's loading, we're going to go to some comments. So we're going to start with everybody. I want everybody to just take a second and recognize that Peeps has joined us. Everybody, Peeps is in the house. What's going on? Good to see you, Peeps. Santino says, I pulled one of those Griffeys in 99 and sold it for $2K. Oops, Santino, you're in common company. We've all done that at this point in time. Jake Dahl wants to know, who was that jersey, the game used jersey beside the Charizard? We didn't talk about it. Who was that, Adam? Do you remember?
I didn't notice.
We'll come back to it, Jake. Potentially we'll come back to it if you don't go find that yourself. Okay, Fan says, Luka, 3 times first All-Star NBA at the ages of 21, 22, and 23, soon to be 4-time first All-Star NBA, not even close to Luka. Maybe he means not even close to SGA is what I think he's saying there. Jordan Riker joined, selling my first ever card in Premier, 2004 LeBron limited logos. Good luck to you, Jordan Riker, and good seeing you and your mom at the Burbank show. Twice in 6 months, I get to see you and your mother. Nice lady. And Jordan's a great guy all the time. It's March Magic, says Newt Stu. Santino says, okay, hold on. We're going to go to vintage here. The question is, will Shea Gilgeous-Alexander be remembered 25 plus years from now? Possible, but odds are more likely he will be largely forgotten about. I can't argue with that. I mean,
so
25 years is a long way away.
I was just gonna jump in, and then we kept going, but we don't know who's gonna be great. Like Luka made it to a conference finals, right? And that's great. Luka currently in the standings is a half a game ahead of Shea, right? He's not guaranteed to even make the playoffs. Who's the second best player on the Mavs right now? I'm not trying to talk down Luka, but what I am trying to say is like SGA is having like an offensive year that is really like exceptional, and he's in that sort of age range where you start looking at, this is what his progress has been so far. He's got a chance to be something really special. And then this is the part, Jeremy, to me that I think people really need to look at. That guy is running an offense and has teammates who are young, who as they grow together have a chance to be really special. Again, they're missing their top 3 pick in Chet Holmgren this season, who was projected to be potentially like the rookie of the year this year. What if he was there? How good are they going to be? Now, let me follow that up with, who does Luka have around him right now that we're sure about? And I think that's the question that, as if I was investing in these young guys, I would be asking that question right now. I think the Thunder's future is a whole lot brighter. You can compare the stars and say Luka's way better than Shea. I get that. But like, look at the rest of the teams around them. It's not close. I take the Thunder all day long.
Yeah, I can't really speak about what team is better because I'm not following it day to day. But what I can tell you is that what's going on right now is a fleeting moment in time.
I disagree.
And I think you have to, 25 years from now, you're going to look back at the bodies of work at both players, and you're going to then decide what was it. And March of 2023. If that's all the players remembered for, if that's their best performance, then that's not going to be enough. You need consistency over several seasons to be remembered at the end of the day, to be among the greats.
That's just it, Jeremy, is that like SGA is set up for the long term. Oklahoma City has a treasure trove of draft picks. They have all this young talent, young stars up the whole roster. Luka has the talent and has clearly, as far as the resume goes, it's not close, right? But like, Luka doesn't have people around him. Right now, I look at Luka and I say, that's a guy who's going to have to go to another team to be great, but he's locked in for a long time. Or maybe the Mavs can, and they don't have a path, right? OKC has a path. And SGA, from an offensive perspective this year, has been a savant. Like, he's not kind of good. He's one of the best players in the NBA. So I know what the narrative is. Like, I'm the biggest basketball fan out there. I get it. But I'm telling you right now, like, this is not just a moment. This is something that if you're a Thunder fan, you are excited about the next 10 years. And if you're a Mavs fan, you're thinking, I'm worried that guy's going to leave. So that's my honest take on the situation right now.
Point well taken. Fan123 says Shea will be forgotten. He isn't generational like Luka. Goes on to say Luka basically is Trout, but more playoff success. Santino, only a few generational guys to ever play sports. Yeah, that's where my mind goes, is that it's really tough to break into that lineage. Even Steph Curry, took him a long time to and he hasn't really broken into the Jordan, LeBron, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Jordan, LeBron. Who's next? Is it Steph Curry? I think he's closest. Is it Luka? Maybe one day. Is it SGA? Nah. I mean, probably never, right? I think Luka has a better chance, but you got to work into championships and all that as well. So I think I agree with Santino's thought on this one. Mohammed, Adam, do you have any thoughts on the dynasty case? Because I don't.
Sorry, I was going to do some research. I'm like heated.
Okay. We're gonna go on
this conversation.
Jake Dahl, what is the history behind the MJ autos numbered at 23? I think Adam shared some of that. Derica says, Adam, can you take a minute to discuss how PWCC handles our autograph cards while they are housed in the vault? So just keep it quick, Adam, in terms of exposure to sunlight.
Yeah, they don't see light. So they're in a place where we can see them, but the cards are well packed into the boxes. And so I actually asked all those same questions when I submitted my cards to the vault. And I personally don't have any concerns. I've got all of my autographs stored there.
I think that's one of the things that you would actually, and it's a great question that Derek asks. It's an important question, but it's one that should be one of the benefits of putting your cards in the PWCC vault, is knowing that they're going to store them properly to conserve those autographs. So, but I'm glad that the question is asked, and we can get that out there. Jordan Riker says that Kyrie is the second best player on the Mavs. Peep says if we had a crystal ball, the hobby would be no fun. That's right, because then we'd all have the same information. Exactly. And then Sports Cards. What a great name. Hey, Sports Cards says Luka is 100% on the LeBron trajectory to leave the Mavs. Maybe he'll come back and win a ring for them at the end of the day. UNC Jones says Steph has changed the way basketball is played forever. He's already generational. Yeah, see, UNC, that's what I was getting at. I believe Steph to be in that lineage of, Russell, Chamberlain. We skip Magic and Bird. I don't know that we should, but we tend to. Jordan, LeBron, and then Steph. Who's next? Is it Luka? Seems like it's going to be.
It is. I mean, when I was asked the question, who are the 5 most collected basketball players? I said Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, Luka. He is. There's no question about it. Like, Luka has been the guy for years, and I'm not arguing that. What I'm asking is the question of, okay, who actually has a path right now? SGA has a path, guys. He does. And so I was pushing back, Jeremy, on your sort of like, is this a moment thing? Like, I just don't see how Luka gets there, but I see how SGA gets there. It's very easy to see.
Yeah, fair. And thank you, Peeps, for calling out Kareem. I forgot Kareem, and I love Kareem. I mean, what a dude. What a dude. Okay. So let's just, Adam, I want to ask Adam Baum in the house here on this next group of 8. This is an iconic card. This made the top 100 iconic cards in the PWCC book. This is a PSA 10 copy. It is an important card. I'm almost like I grew up in the 80s as a teenager or a youngster and teenager, and I never collected garbage pail kids. I was stuck on baseball cards and hockey cards in the 80s. I wish I would have, because I like these things now, but there's no nostalgia in it for me, but I get how important this card is. What do you know about the Adam Baum? What's it at right now? First, let's see. This card is sitting at $12,000, you guys. $12,000. What are your thoughts on this card, Adam?
There wasn't a card that was more polarizing in the voting. We had several people who put Adam Baum in the top 10, and we had several people who totally left him off the list. I can't think of another card that really had that sort of polarization to the voting. And the reason why, I think, is if you lived in America in the late 80s, you remember these stickers were everywhere. I mean, it's kind of a little bit like when we had Pogs in the mid 90s, and how teachers were just going crazy over sort of trying to control the Pogs. These stickers back in the late 80s were absolutely nuts. And so a lot of them got peeled. A lot of them, got really thrown around and traded a lot. The reality is not a lot of them are Gem 10 anymore. And so if you go look at the whole population report for all of the original Garbage Pail Kids, this is obviously the card that's known, and there's just not very many in super high grade.
16 PSA 10s, it says here, $12,000 right now. Let's talk about KD for a second. Kevin Durant, here's a 101 logo, man. It's at $20,000. I mean, we were just talking about all-time greats. Like, Kevin Durant might be the best player in the game. Like, he scores points like for breakfast. Like, he's got 15 points before he gets to the court for a game. Like, why isn't he discussed in that lineage of all time? Like, if we're talking about Kareem, can we talk about KD? Is he missing championships? I don't even know if he has any, to be honest. Like, what's he missing? Why isn't he in the discussion? Is it because he's a bit older?
He doesn't have people who are loyal to him, I think, because he hasn't been loyal to his fan bases. He walked away from the Thunder. He left Golden State. He left when he lost to the Warriors and then went to play with them, and that's how he won his championships. But look, make no mistake, Kevin Durant's people are going to think this sounds crazy. I think he's the best scorer I've ever seen. He can do things on the court that I've never seen anybody else do before. And so, if you want to collect the guy who is maybe the best in a lot of different ways, Kevin Durant is that guy, but he's not as likable, I think, as a Kobe or as a LeBron, or LeBron can be a little bit funny too, but or as a Jordan, certainly.
Okay, well, appreciate that. Couple comments here. Peep says the Adam Baum was always my favorite in my circles as a kid. And Giannis, right? UNC calls out Giannis as the next generational player. Like, where does Giannis fit in with respect to Luka? To me, from what I see, from my perspective, Giannis has titles. Giannis has MVPs, right? Like, Giannis is right up there with and as Jordan Riker says, KD has 2 titles. Like, Luka, Giannis, KD are kind of in that net, just below the Steph and the rest of them.
Yes.
And I mean, not to poo-poo on SGA, but he's not even in these discussions, I don't think, at this point.
No, he's not.
The the comment was made right here by Santino. He isn't mainstream yet. I'm hearing more and more about him now. So I think he's getting there. He's making his way to be a headliner on SportsCenter, but maybe not quite yet. But no, please, Adam, jump in.
So yeah, he's averaging 31 a game. He's been amazing, but no, he's not. He's nowhere near those guys. If he was, that would be $1 million card, right? So he's not anywhere near those guys. But I think what you just talked about with the Luka, Giannis, KD, that's a really interesting group. They're not really super close as far as age goes, right? Like KD came into the league over a decade before Luka, but like Giannis absolutely has a trajectory to being a top 10 player ever, right? He's probably already around 20 ever. He's incredible. He's got his championship. He's got a 50-point game 7. He's multiple MVP, but he's not sexy the way that Luka is. Like Luka does things on a court that are really like, I mean, he's like taking step back 30-footers to win games. He's unstoppable as an offensive player, whereas Giannis is like brute strength, and he has some finesse for sure, but he gets that forearm into you and he just goes to the hoop. That's not as fun to watch as Kobe, Luka, Jordan. And so I think that's a big part of it.
Okay. Well, Vintage Card Collector says KD is a jerk. I've heard sentiments like that. Nahuggin says he took the wrong path. Going to the Warriors to win championships was a weak move. Yeah, like if you're going to a super team and you're a superstar, I discount that ring. That I discount that chip a little bit.
And Jeremy, they had just beaten the Thunder. The Thunder were up 3-1. Golden State comes back to beat the Thunder, and then he jumps ship from the Thunder to go to the team that beats him. People hate that, and they will always hate that.
I don't love that either. I think that's partially why his cards don't get the love that these other guys do. Santino says he isn't a leader. KD isn't a leader, more of a follower. That's his perception. But then 450 says, why is no one talking about Jokic? Soon to be back-to-back MVP would be the first time in history. And my answer to that is that, and this is, it's one of these weird things in sports cards. There's nothing sexy about Jokic. There's nothing sexy about collecting Jokic. And I know there's actually a very prominent collector who collects Jokic, and he's probably getting a great deal on his cards because the amount of people collecting Jokic relative to his accomplishments is very low. And, maybe we'll all look back in 10 years and say we should have been buying Jokic. And, Chris McGill at Card Ladder is buying all the Jokic cards, and maybe he's going to be the smart one at the end of the day. Tough to say, but let's face it. The guy is the best player in basketball right now as far as the stats go. But Peep says he needs to win titles to get that ship sailing, and that's a big deal.
So I'll disagree on him being sexy. He's not sexy in the way that some of those other guys are, but the way he plays, I like watching Nikola Jokic play maybe more than anybody in the NBA. Now he's an average defender if we want to be really kind, right? He's not a great defender. But offensively, he does things that nobody's ever done. He's the best passing big man of all time. He can score from anywhere on the court. He can run the break. He's huge. He's very different. I love his personality. Everything about him is just wonderful. He actually is lacking some firepower in big time cards, right? He doesn't have an NT RPA. His NT is just an autograph. His RPAs are like immaculate and noir. They're viewed differently. But like what the person just said about the championship, spot on. Jokic has to win. He hasn't done it yet.
Well, let's see. Here's an interesting comment. 2 of them. Nahuggin says, I feel like in 10 years, we're going to look back and wish we were buying Jokic and Giannis.
Yeah.
I think people are buying Giannis, though. But this comment here from Sports Card says, collecting Jokic is collecting a guaranteed loss. Investing in centers is already scary, but then you're investing in a center who is terrible at defense, which will always cost his team in the playoffs. So pretty interesting right there. Santino, don't sleep on Embiid. There's another player.
Don't sleep on Embiid. Amazing. Yeah. And Embiid is great offensively and defensively. I have my doubts about how long Embiid will last, but I love him. He's controversial in that he like gets in people's faces and he's brash, he's funny, I love Embiid. I love him. But we don't see a lot of centers because people love to buy sexy. And when we think about sexy, we think about like long, sinewy, like acrobatic type stuff. And that's not Embiid and Jokic. whatsoever.
What about Kawhi? Here's a Kawhi RPA, National Treasures out of 199. Kawhi is another guy who, I mean, does he just take too many games off? Why doesn't he? I mean, I think it's it's Sasha P cards.
Yes.
Sasha P, big Kawhi collector. Big Kawhi guy. I mean, is he underrated? He's got championship. He won it with the Raptors.
Kawhi is a conundrum, man, because look, as far as like guys who are like Jordan on both sides of the ball, Kawhi's your guy. He's offensively and defensively dominant. He's one of the best players I've ever seen. Can't play more than 40 games in a season, and most of the time it's even less than that. So, and then from a likability perspective, you get that guy in front of a camera and he just can't do anything. Right? He's not electric as a personality. And so those are the things that harm him. But I'm going to tell you what, like the guy he's still pretty young. He's still got a chance to win more championships than what he already has. He already has 2 championships, already on the NBA's greatest 75 team. And when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. So I don't know, man. If we see him go win 2 or 3 more, we may have this weird situation where you have like an all-time great who people are still going to go collect, even though he wasn't the great personality.
All right. Yeah, good. And Sports Cards here says that if he didn't have a more subtle personality than Tim Duncan, he'd probably be the modern day Kobe. He'd have a cult following with how insanely good he is, which Santino is agreeing with everything that's just been said. So I think we're onto something there. Okay. So that's Kawhi. We have another Black Lotus here. PSA 9's at $50K. We have a Patrick Mahomes NT RP at a 99, one of 5, 8 graded higher. This is a PSA 9. I like the patch. I just like that you've got nice, somewhat symmetrical 3 colors. Then you got another Jordan limited logos. I mean, Jordan limited logos are on auction tonight. If someone's looking to knock 3 of them off their checklist, this Mantle is a beauty. $19,000 for a 1969 Topps Mickey Mantle. That's what, 18th year card. Doesn't matter. So many people work on the Mantle run. So I'm not surprised to see that there. Anything here you'd like to talk about, Adam, before we move on to the next group?
Oh, I think you did an awesome job, and I'm glad we talked about the Kawhi. 2012 was a crazy year, and that's the Kawhi card. It's pretty cool to see it in a PSA 10. You don't see those very often.
All right, so here we go. Next grouping. Wow, we got 3 Jordan cards, 4 Jordan cards. Is there a 5th one? No, 4 Jordan cards, 2 autos, a rare platinum medallion out of 100 for $36,000. BGS 9.5 right now. There's a nice Kobe patch auto on card, numbered out of 24. I'm sure you're going to have something to say about this card, Adam, because that, to me, I don't think I've seen that before, and it's really nice. I like that card. Why don't you just tell us about this card and any significance it may have?
We did some really cool content on this card. This came out of one of the Exquisite exclusive boxes, which was the 5th year anniversary from Exquisite. What they did is they had players sign the outside of the box, and then on the inside of the box, they had 4 cards of that player. They did it with 8 different players, including Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. So there's 24 Kobe Exquisite exclusive boxes, and the best card in every box was this card. It was the autographed patch. Well, Kobe's, I think, are well known for Kobe collectors, which I consider myself one, because not only is it a really cool autograph patch card from Exquisite that's really beautiful, as you point out, but look at the uniform, Jeremy. It's got those stars on it because it's from, if you turn it around, you can see it's from the All-Star uniform. So, this card has a lot of storytelling behind it. That's why we tried to tell the story on it a little bit. For those of you who didn't see it, go check that out for sure. But I love this card. It doesn't have the name limited logos. It doesn't have the name emblems of endorsement or number pieces that people know. But as far as aesthetics go, brand and all the other things that are around it, including rarity, it's got everything going for it.
Yeah, that's a stunning card. What's it sitting at? $15,000. Yeah, that seems reasonable compared to other Kobe auto prices that I've seen over the last several months. Really, really nice card. You got the Tiger Woods Gold SP Authentic rookie card, PSA 9. That's at $26,000 right now. That's numbered out of 100. So I believe the the full the regular version is is it 900? I think it's 900, not 999. It's 900. So, and this is, an amazing card, just an amazing card. And Tiger's GOAT status, that's for darn sure. Jordan BGS 9.5. If anybody's interested in one of those, I'm sure people are. $42,000 right now. Okay, let's keep going, Adam. Let's go to page 4. Santino says, would love to see pop count numbers next to every card listed. Why isn't that the case for sellers like eBay and auction houses? I agree with Santino. I would like to see that as well. To me, that is as important as a lot of other information about the card. One of the problems, Santino, and I think everybody will recognize, is that pop counts are just not reliable, nor are they accurate anymore, because there's so much resubbing and cracking and resubbing and crossing over and all that it's just not reliable, and it's just not factual information. It's indicative, but it's a ballpark estimate at best these days. So maybe that's a part of why. I doubt it. I think it's still relevant information that would go into some decision making, because you could discount those populations by whatever you feel is comfortable. Is it 5% or 30% or somewhere in between? Adam?
I agree with Santino completely. I've actually argued that internally. I think we should include that. A lot of cases, what you're going to find is you look at our auctions, is check out the description. You'll find it within the body of the description. But personally, I agree with Santino. I would like to just be able to find that information really easily. And so, it's probably some good feedback for us, and personally something that I agree that we should do. Our goal is to give people the best auction experience possible. And so whenever you have feedback like that, send it to me, send it to PWCC, and we'll certainly give it consideration.
So, okay, well, I think that's important. Thanks, Adam. So this is a great grouping. I love this grouping. I love this Kobe card. I know this is tough to find, even though there's 499 of them. Yep. This Babe Ruth 33 Gaudy, number 144, the standing batting pose is an iconic card and a beautiful card, and very strong in an SGC 5.5 holder. Of course, you've got the LeBron Ultimate Rookie. Ja Morant. Is there a player that is as talked about right now as Ja Morant, being his NTRPA, $29,000? So that's still a lot of money. But would this be double or triple if he wasn't in, just awarded an 8-game suspension for not making the league look good, which is not something I think you want to wear on your belt as you move forward in life. But at the end of the day, I'm sure the guy's going to be quite happy with his place in life. So, but I wonder, would this be worth a lot more if he didn't get into trouble? And that's something again that comes into play when you're talking about sports card collecting, investing. Players can do things after the fact, even after their careers are over, off the court or after their careers, that can impact their values. And so proceed accordingly, I guess. Connor McDavid, Upper Deck Ice Premieres. These are amazingly beautiful cards. They're out of 10 every year. They've been putting them out since 2005. Upper Deck has in this brand. It's a parallel to the rookie out of 99, but it looks a lot different. The rookies are usually vertical. These are horizontal, always have been. On card auto. The patch, I believe, is photo shoot from the rookie get together that they do, the rookie photo shoots. I forget, there's a formal name they use for it. It's just slipping my mind. But this is a BGS 9.5, pop 1 of 4. None graded higher. You've got oil drop. This little bit of orange is part of the oil drop, which is the key part of the logo. This card's at $18,000 right now. Makes sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go higher. And a beautiful card that I love. We got a Brady championship ticket here, Adam. Like what a great group of 8. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
I love them all too. The Kobe is the one that stands out to me. We've seen this tremendous fall on all of the Kobe rookie cards, all of them. This one, I might say, is my favorite of his rookies. And I would really like to own a copy of it. I might end up just getting one at some point that's sort of like graded as authentic, because most of these, Jeremy, most of the original EX from 96, most of them are graded authentic, because that set had a lot of issues with cards being miscut. To find one in a 9 is actually pretty rare. I don't know these numbers off the top of my head, but somebody take a quick look at the population reports on both PSA and Beckett, and I think what you're going to see is a 9's a really strong grade. I would guess sub 20% of the cards that have been graded have been 9 or higher. That might be a little low, but a 9 on this is beautiful. And you see this card, you see a lot of people like pick it up and take a picture of it as like they're looking up at the clouds, right? The sky, the blue sky with the clouds in the background, and it shines through that acetate, that clear acetate in the background, and just beautiful. I love it.
All right. Well, yeah, that is a phenomenal card. I love this Babe Ruth too. I just love the Babe Ruth. But let's go on to the next group of 8. Right here we go. We've got a Tatum. I mean, Tatum's the real deal. He's another player that we're not talking about, who to me is, he's amazing. Like he's
amazing.
He's an amazing player. He's on a team that has some potential. He's on a team that has humongous tradition, a huge fan base. I mean, this might be my pick of the NTRPAs as far as like bang for your buck goes right now. I do love that card. There was a time about 2 years ago when I was watching Tatum play and I thought this guy's good. I'm going to buy some cards. I didn't, because I just didn't have enough faith in my.
Uh-oh. Might have lost Jeremy. Hopefully he comes back soon. While Jeremy is gone, I believe I am live and he is not. Just send Jeremy a quick message. While Jeremy is out, I'll point out a few of the cards that are sitting in this group. This is this LeBron Emblems of Endorsements, one that we talked about.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay, cool. I only said like one sentence. Are you still there?
Out again. I'm seeing I'm having some internet issues, so you carry it for me for now, please.
Okay, sounds good. So the LeBron and Emblems of Endorsements, a special card because it's kind of considered like maybe like one of the rare key inserts from the Exquisite era. All the cards in the set are numbered out of 10. There's only it's a small checklist. I think it's like 12 to 15. If Adam Rips is still in here, I'd love to hear, what he knows about it. I've only ever owned one card from the set, which was an Andrew Bynum, but the patch is amazing. It's a gold on-card autograph. I absolutely love that card. And Jeremy, it looks like you're back.
I think I'm back, but keep going, Adam, if you don't mind. I'm just not 100% certain how long okay. I think I'm back now. The issue signal is gone. So yeah,
you're good.
Okay. Well then let's, I don't know where you were just talking about, but there's the Emblems of Endorsement, LeBron James, which we talked about in the pre-show. And somebody made a comment not too long ago that they thought that was a sick card. I'd agree, but I love this Kobe here. I love these 03 Exquisite horizontal patch autos, and look at the colors in this one. I love this card, like 21.5 for that. Seems like,
Man, we're losing Jeremy again, guys. Let's talk about the things. Let's talk. I'm gonna talk over Jeremy until we can see that he's back here live. We usually haven't had issues with the internet, so for those of you who are joining us for the first time, apologies for that. But it's what happens sometimes in the 21st century. So there's a lot of cards on this row or in this group that I absolutely love. But the thing that I want to point out right now, before I mention anything else, what Jeremy was saying about Jason Tatum is exactly right. This is a guy who, we were talking about Luka earlier. I have concerns about Luka because of the team that's around him. And Jordan, who's in here, is one of the smartest basketball guys I know, mentioned that Luka has Kyrie. If that works, it could be amazing. But I don't know that it's going to work. What I know about Tatum is he is on a team with a front office, and it seems like a coach too, that has things figured out, right? Tatum is really he's one of the guys in the NBA right now. And so, he's a guy who not only has a chance to score a lot of points, but he has a chance to win a lot of games. And as his NTRP out of 99, that's his key rookie card. It's his biggest rookie card. And so, it's a little bit low on the screen right now. Thanks, Jeremy. But it's, 2-color patch. Not all of them have the 3 breaks. A lot of them just have a simple 2-color in a 9.5. a lot of these high-end NTRPAs have come down a lot, and it's a lot more appetizing now that they've come down a lot. You there, brother? Jeremy? Jeremy's frozen again. So let's talk about the Johnny Moore. The Johnny Moore in a PSA 10 is a card that if you haven't heard of before, you're probably going, why is Johnny Moore in the Premier Auction? Johnny Moore is not a superstar. What Johnny Moore is one of the rarest, most difficult to find guys in a PSA 10 in the set. It's only Jeff Malone who's rarer. At last time I looked, and he was only rarer by one card, and there are a lot fewer of Jeff Malone that had been submitted to PSA. So for people looking to put together a PSA 10 set, Johnny Moore is as tough as it gets. So that is just a great card. Hey, you're back.
I'm back for now. Hopefully,
Jeremy, if you can, scroll down to the next group. You're still overlapping. So go ahead and scroll down to the next group. Scroll down to the next group so we can see the whole next 8, just in case I need to carry the show for a bit. So while Jeremy is still out, let's hit. I know he wants to talk about the hardware card, so I will leave that. I'm going to leave that for him. But there's 4 great cards there on the bottom that we haven't had the chance to talk about yet. Let me see. Let me look at the comments real quick. I should go back there. I'm looking at other things. $80 for high-speed internet. I love it. And baseball card, curmudgeon. What is up, brother? Always appreciate you joining the chat. So, Jeremy, I can see you moving right now. You good?
Well, probably not. Keep going, Adam. Can you see 8 cards here?
I can, yeah. And so, yeah, let's at least keep going on that for a second. So, I'll leave the hardware card to you. Do you want to try talking about that for a second while we've got you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a card that I love. This one here, the metal, the 97 Metal Universe Championship hardware. It's a PSA 10. There's only 11 of them that exist. It's like you said in the pre-show, Adam, the PMGs get all the love from that series, but this is an extremely rare and pretty important from my understanding.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare insert card. Guys, I'm sorry. First time we've had this. But like I said, it just sort of happens. Jeremy, I'm going to talk over you for a second. We're losing it here and there. I'm just going to send you a quick message. I want to talk over you. Sorry, guys. Let me finish what Jeremy's saying about the Jordan. The hardware. Here's why the hardware is interesting to me. As Jeremy was saying, it's the insert or one of the inserts from 97 Metal Universe. Now, Metal Universe from 1997 is widely regarded as really like one of the all-time best basketball sets. And that's because of the PMGs, right? It's because of the base set. So there are these inserts that are ultra rare that just don't get the love that the parallels get, but they came from the same set and they're extremely rare. So if I remember right, this Jordan is a pop 15. And as a pop 15, you're talking about a card that there's only 50% more of that than the PMG green. There's 6 times less of this in a PSA 10 than there is of the red. And it's worth just a fraction, right? You can still see, it's still worth over 20 grand. It's still a big, big card, right? Santina says, tell Jeremy to close some tabs. The problem is none of those tabs that are open are internet. So I don't know if that actually would help, but Jeremy, the other option here, I think, is for you to send me that link to let me drive. I don't know if I can do that. I haven't done that before. It might be not worth the risk. I'm not sure, but if you want me to drive, I'm happy to try to do that too.
You got me right now. I'm going to come in on my phone. I don't know if it's going to help or not, but just so everybody knows, I actually have the internet technician coming tomorrow to fix this issue for me. I tried to get them here today before the show, but I couldn't. So I apologize. But Adam, when I'm gone, just talk about the cards. Okay. Just keep talking about the cards.
Sure.
I'm going to come in on my phone here if I can.
Okay. Do you want, I'm going to just keep going while you're talking, while you're bringing in the internet from your phone. I just talked about the hardware, MJ, Jeremy. We've talked about the Cassius Clay a number of times. The thing that I would point out about this one is this is like a really high-end card in terms of its condition. A lot of times, you'll see these in a 7 or in a 6, and there's cards, they're examples of this that are graded all the way down to authentic in 1. This is a really high-end copy, and so that's why it's selling for what it's selling for. And then you have obviously the 1980 Topps rookie, the card that we all know and love. The card that, as I pointed out last month, was actually the highest card on the Iconic 100. It's a horizontal card. I thought that maybe the Mickey Mantle rookie card from 51 would beat out the 1980 Topps, but they were really close, and this one was just ahead of it. Now we've lost Jeremy on the screen, and you can see way too much of me. I clearly should have done my makeup. Just kidding. The other cards that were up there was the Giannis. You know what though? Let's not talk about that for a second, since we can't even see the screen and I don't have the ability to pull that up. I'm gonna look with you guys right now. I'm gonna just teach you guys something. Go check out the main page of the Premier Auction, and what you're gonna see is all of the cards as they're getting bids popping up to the top. We haven't really followed that today. We usually wait till later on, but we're into the 1 minutes now, and we've been into the 1 minutes for a little while. And the reason that is significant is that this is a smaller auction. There's a chance that we're really getting down toward the end of the auction at this point. So, go look at how much time is remaining. Yes, the bids are coming fast now. It seems like we probably have at least a little bit of time, but it is. Yeah, there are huge amounts of bids coming in right now. There might not be a ton of time left in the auction. Jeremy, I can hear your audio, and I can hear me talking in the background. But so I know we've got you. Are you ready to keep going?
Well, I don't know.
We got a good smile at Jeremy as he freezes this time. I love it. So I'm going to keep going with what I was talking about there for a second, and actually just answer some questions too. So Santino says, tell Jeremy to close off some tabs. I think he's seen that at this point, Santino. Vintage Card Collector says, is anyone bugged by the look of the reverse on the clay with how the wording cuts off? Yeah, I totally am. I get what you're saying here. And this is the result of having something sort of not fit exactly right in the book, right? It turns out it's actually not super easy to get pages to sort of line up with each other on a page like this. We actually did cards in BCF a couple of months or last month, and ours were just a smidge off, not as much as these are, but this is what happens when you have a card that's like sort of cut out via a magazine or a journal. A lot of times you end up with things not lining up exactly right. Having said that, I think it's become widely regarded as the Cassius Clay, right? The Muhammad Ali card. So I wouldn't personally let that really bother you too much if you want the best card, but he does have some other early cards that are really cool that are a lot better looking and that sell for a lot less. So I think, there's definitely some options out there, but if you want the most iconic one, right, this is it right here. Jeremy.
Yeah. So hi everybody. Karn has joined us. I brought him in, but I couldn't see him, and I realized I surprised him. Karn, I'm going to bring you on, and I'm going to let you two guys carry it while my internet tries to settle itself out. I feel like I'm just in a bad time zone. So Karn, here he is. Welcome to the show, Karn. Some issues on my end. I'm going to leave it to you guys for now, and I'm going to try and work things out on my end.
What's up, guys? What's up, Adam?
Hey, Karn. Hey, yeah, I think you probably heard Jeremy say we are having some big time technical issues, probably over like the last 15 minutes. Jeremy's sort of been in and out, and it's made it so that when he jumps in, he'll talk for like 5 seconds and get really excited about something, and then he'll pause. So let's you and I just take it. We've been on this screen for a little while. You can see Jeremy's mouse is moving around, so he's able to hear us, which is super helpful. Which of these cards, is there anything on this page that you look at and go, that's a card that grabs my attention?
Yeah, first of all, I gotta say, doing these shows definitely makes me spend more money than I would have if I don't do these shows. That's 100% factual. So PWCC out there, this show is definitely, at least increasing prices by a couple of $1,000s. And I look, those are all the card that always jumps out at me. These are kind of, the card. There's a few cards there you see often. You see the LeBron Ultimate pretty often. That's a PSA 10 copy. It's really low pop in a PSA 10-10. And you can see that autograph is a little bit off. And I think that's what's kind of affecting the price there. Iconic card. And then you have that Tom Brady Super Bowl card. It has a game used piece of the football in there. Amazing card, but you're starting to see that pop up pretty often as well. And then you see that Gretzky. Like, you can't ever go wrong with a nice little Gretzky. And then you have that Muhammad Ali card. That card, I always felt that card was undervalued for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of boxing just losing popularity or something like that, but that is, one of the most beautiful Muhammad Ali cards out there. And I've always wondered, like, when is that card going to take off? And it hasn't yet, but that's a special one too. But, for you, which one pops out for you? I like, for me, when I look at this, I look at the Jordan. That's the key card that pops out to me the most. It's just a top 90s insert.
Well, I already said kind of what some of my thoughts were, but it looks like we've got Jeremy back. Jeremy, you want to take a hold of the reins again?
Yeah, thanks, guys, and apologies to everybody. And I'm with Karn. I do love the hardware, the championship hardware. LGC asks if it's serially numbered. It is not serially numbered. That one isn't. Karn called out the Gretzky, the PSA 8 O-Pee-Chee, and I brought up an image of it. So let's just take a look at this card, guys, for a moment. It has that beautiful rough cut down the left edge, and this one might be a little bit more beautiful than I like. I prefer the right edge, that kind of edge. This you can see the pulp of the stock all the way down. So it's a great copy, but I don't know that it would make it into my collection. Oil drop is nicely placed. Image is pretty clear. There seems to be a scratch coming down here, but I think that might be on the holder, because if that was on the card, I don't think that the card would have graded an 8 overall. But you can see the word Edmonton Oilers are on the same plane. That's very important as well. Nice and focused legs. Oftentimes you'll see blur down the side of his legs here. This one looks pretty good. And also, if you've watched me talk about Gretzky rookies in the past, you will know that I'm very particular when it comes to the registration of these black borders. If you look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 black borders right here. If you were to take the cross section of the card here, you've got 6 black borders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 2 over here. Oftentimes, these black borders are not perfectly lined up with the blue borders. In this case, they are. This card has, and I love that. There's no white gap between the black and the blue down here. No white gap over here, none in here or over here. And that's what I love about this particular copy. I think it's a great copy overall. If you're a buyer of this card, you're in the market for an O-Pee-Chee Gretzky PSA 8 near mint to mint condition, as long as you're okay with this left edge, which doesn't really hurt the grade because that's the way they were, then I think it's a great copy overall. Those are my thoughts on that Gretzky right there. Karn's comments on the Hemet's Journal, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. I think one of the things that keeps that card back a bit is that it's not even a card. It's like a page out of a magazine. So I think that's part of it. They're hand cut, which I don't mind because you couldn't get them any other way. The only way to get it was hand cut. And so I do like it that way. But I think this is, to Karn's comments, this might be a card of opportunity down the road. It just might be. I don't know for sure, but you might think that way. Fellas, before we go on to the next grouping, anything Adam or Karn would like to jump in with?
The only thing that I would say is we're seeing a ton of bidding right now, which is awesome to see. I kind of wonder if this is where the extended bidding, the all access extended sort of comes into play. We're just regularly seeing the cards sort of like loop through. A few things that really stand out is the 2003 Noble Nameplates Jordan in a BGS 9.5. It's getting a ton of action. It's
close to 100 grand right now. In fact, I think it just went past 100 grand post BP, which is contrary to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, in that some of the exquisite Jordans have really decreased. It speaks to earlier cards and rarer cards being the ones that are doing really well. And then the other one is, I saw that the Trout, the black label Trout's got some action on it right now too.
Yeah,
What's
and Adam, I
to?
think I second that, Adam. I felt like, okay, well, going into this Premier Auction a couple of days ago, I looked at the prices. All the prices were kind of low, so it got me a little more interested than I typically would be, because I was like, hey, maybe we'll sneak out a deal here. But now you log in and look at it, and everything's it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty healthy. So it's definitely working. A lot of action here coming in.
Yeah, I personally, I just love the all access. I love it because the worst thing about working here is I can't look for the deals. But like, you got 188 items, like everybody right now should be looking through saying, okay, what's too low, and figuring out, where, Karn, as you and I talked about really recently, that those arbitrage opportunities are worth looking for.
I just want to bring up the back of this card for a moment. We had a comment from Vintage here, says, is anyone bugged about the look of the reverse with the words getting cut off? And that's because it's from a magazine. That's the back side of it. And I'm not bugged about it, because that's how the card is. That's still, I've never seen a copy that doesn't have that same alignment. So that's the way the alignment was intended to be, for better or for worse. So it doesn't bug me. Plus, I'm a front of the card guy mostly. However, all that said, I could see why it could bug people that it's not all there. And maybe you would instead look at a different Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali card altogether. All right, let's go to the next page. Let's go to page 5 and see how far we can get down this page. And hopefully my connection stays good. All indications are that it will, but I don't want to speak too soon, so I retract that comment. 2000 Bowman Chrome Refractor Tom Brady. I love this card. Looks like it's coming back down to earth a little bit. We'll see where this one ends, but this is one of the most beautiful cards out there. And then, of course, I talked about this in the pre-show, Adam, the 2015, the rookie card, rookie year. I consider this a rookie card for me. Connor McDavid, PMG Red. 1 of 8, none graded higher. It's a BGS 9.5. I mean, I always compare it for the same money. How many Young Guns of his can you get where the print run is like 25,000 plus, and there's thousands of BGS 9.5s and PSA 10s. So what would you rather have, 4 Young Guns or this? I mean, for me, it's this all day long. I'd rather have this than 10 Young Guns. At that point, the Young Gun loses its luster when you can get 10 of them. So I think this is a very special card. $17,000 seems right to me. I could see it getting 1 or 2 more bids. Karn, what do you think about the $17,000 value it's at right now, and just the importance of this particular McDavid card?
Yeah, I think it's quickly becoming an iconic kind of set in hockey as well. PMGs are obviously more synonymous with basketball, but it's truly starting to take hold in the hockey environment as well. And with this being a rookie card of McDavid and a red PMG, and it just looks like a beautiful card. And it's condition sensitive like that 97 set, so you don't see a lot of high grades. It's really becoming a key piece for PC collectors in the hockey genre, and I think it's going to continue to be. It's just a phenomenal card, and I agree with your sentiment completely. I think there's way more than 25,000 McDavid Young Guns, and I know you're being conservative on purpose. I know you are, but we're probably talking 50,000. 100,000 maybe. So this card to get in a gem mint quality condition is a phenomenal piece. I just sold a green PMG rookie of this card recently to buy that card I bought on PWCC a couple of months ago. So it makes me kind of sad seeing it do this well, but it is what it is.
Well, I love seeing it do this well, and I want to encourage everybody to keep bidding on this card, because I am the proud owner of a PSA 10 version of it. So the better the BGS 9.5 does, the better my PSA 10 is going to do. However, it doesn't even matter, because I'm not going to sell my card for a very long time. So
you have the blue as well, right? In PSA 10.
I have the blue as well in a 10.
Look at this guy.
Santino says nice card, but it has no RC emblem logo, and hockey cards don't in general have that. So that's a moot point, Santino. Okay. Anything else on this grouping? Well, I've been doing all the talking here, guys. Adam, what about you? What? I mean, I see a lot of basketball here in this bottom right corner. What do you want to talk about here?
Sure. The card that appeals to me most is the Jordan. It's the Chronology Gold. Chronology is kind of viewed as like this really like niche, cool upper deck brand that lasted just a few years. But well, the cards from the set that are the most popular are the cards that have that matte finish that I think we've all seen before. In fact, we've seen 1-in-1 and Panini sort of did a redo of this, or a set that looks really similar to it. It's really beloved. It's Durant's rookie card. There's big Jordan, Kobe, LeBron cards from that. This is not that set, but it's a serial numbered out of 10, gold. It's kind of hard to find the serial number in there, but it is in there. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful card. It's rare, early Bulls image of Jordan, and just gives you everything that you want aesthetically from a high-end brand that doesn't have that same like exquisite price tag. I love stuff like that like checks all the boxes, but just doesn't check that sort of main brand name. I love cards like that.
It's a nice looking card, and Chronology has really taken off as far as hobby equity goes, brand equity in the hobby. And, again, I follow the hockey card market the closest, and Chronology has been out in hockey for a few years now, and it does very well. Very, very popular brand. And I think a lot of it has to do with because of how well the basketball cards have actually done over time. Karn, anything else on this grouping for you?
Yeah, so I think I always talk about this card, so it's going to be pretty obvious. But I did have an $18,000 bid on the LeBron James SP Authentic. And look, Jeremy and I are hockey guys. This card reminds me of the Future Watch Auto for hockey cards. It pretty much is the Future Watch Auto of basketball cards. And it's out of 500. The equivalent McDavid, which is out of 999. Sells for the same price as LeBron, and it's out of 500. So for me, I kind of make that connection, and I say, I don't know, I would take LeBron over McDavid all day when it comes to comparing the two cards, the two future watches, if you will. So yeah.
It's also a true gem in that it's got 495 grade, so there's no nines on there, which I do like. On card auto, serial numbered, beautiful card. I love the card as well. The one thing that I think about is I would be comparing it to the Ultimate rookie card, which is out of 250, which is the same. It has all the same attributes, right? Simple, basic card, 55 point and thickness, pretty much. On card auto, serial numbered, but with half the print run. So I kind of look at both. When I look at this LeBron, I always think about that one too. And I'm like, well, which is the better card? Well, which one can you afford? I think maybe number one, and then number two, which one do you prefer? But yeah, both definitely great cards. And yeah, it's a beauty. And I do like the SP Authentic brand over Ultimate. So even though there's more of them.
Yeah, that's a hot take right there.
I take Ultimate. I love me some Ultimate, but SP Authentic has been around longer, so I will give it that. But the Ultimate has that holofoil, man, and that to me, that makes all the difference on that card.
Quick good night to you. Good night, Tristan. Welcome to the show. What did you miss?
Tristan? What did he miss? Karn?
I'm still here. Yeah, I think he's frozen again.
Tristan, you missed this. You missed thus far. Look, we've seen a tremendous amount of action. We've gone through about two-thirds of the items. I don't know if we're going to make it through all of them, but while Jeremy's frozen, I do want to point out he's scrolled down to the next 8, but we're seeing some awesome action over on the scroll, on the top scroll bar. You can see the Steph NT RPA that we were talking about earlier in the BGS 9 just got another bid. The Kobe 2008 with LeBron guarding. We haven't even talked about the card. We actually have a PSA 10 that's up this month, and it's the first one of those we've seen in a while. It just keeps creeping up $1,000 at a time. About 15 minutes ago, it was at 30 grand. It's now at 39. Now it's at 40. Just keeps getting sort of a bit at a time. But the thing that I'm really noticing over there on the scroll bar, guys, if you're watching it, Mahomes is taking off. A bunch of the big Mahomes is really going up. And
You know, I'm not a football guy. I would never buy a huge football card, but I get it. I totally get it because like the market's down. People can feel that it's down. And we're still seeing some real premium Mahomes cards come to market. If it just feels like, you know, Karn, it's what we've talked about before with like the arbitrage and being opportunistic. Feels like a time to be opportunistic with Mahomes to me. Does it feel the same way to you?
Yeah, 100%. Like especially this National Treasures black out of 5 NT. It's just that card was humongous. Like we're talking 500, 600K plus and obviously a higher grade, but that's just such a big card, and we're starting to see Mahomes hit that kind of phase where if he gets one more Super Bowl, 2 more Super Bowls, where he's in that conversation of being, you know, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And it seems almost silly to say because it's so recent where Mahomes mania just came into our lives, but it's you know, a true conversation to be had if he wins another one. So it's definitely an interesting play going with Patrick Mahomes.
The other one that I think is so interesting is the Prism Gold Vinyl out of 5. That card is just a gorgeous card, and it's, you know, it's one of his real iconic cards. Certainly sold for a lot more than it's at right now, and I just think it just makes me feel like this is what a buyer's market should feel like. Like it's you know, big cards coming to market. People need cash. They need cash for all sorts of different reasons, and it's sort of one of those their loss is your gain sort of situation. Now we don't know that the market will turn. We don't know that. But if we look back, we zoom out the last 2-3 years, some of these prices are feeling really good right now. I want to point out too, you know, we've seen, look at the timer right now, Karn. It just got down to 5 seconds. That's the lowest we've seen it yet. But this Jordan, I'm circling it like you guys can see me circling it. I know you can't. This Jordan rookie, Jeremy said at the beginning he expected to see it climb. He's right. You know, at 185, that's, what is that, 220-ish? Like that's the most we've seen one of those sell for in a while. And so it's I don't know. I think that's worth noting.
I think it is too. You got me now, right?
I got you now.
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
I'm not gonna reveal what, but I did make a bid in the last 1 minute, so you guys can guess what it was.
Jordan.
Kobe?
Something. I'll reveal it at the end, but we'll keep people guessing.
Keep them guessing. Keep them guessing. All right, guys. Well, while I'm here and my connection is strong, let's keep on going here. We've got this group of 8 cards right here. My favorite is easily this Jordan 03 Exquisite. I said it earlier on the Kobe. I love these cards. I'd love to pair the 2 of them up. But what's this one at? 18.5 right now? That seems low to me. Adam, why is that? Why does that seem low to me? Am I wrong, or is that not low?
You know, a lot of these more plentiful exquisite cards have decreased pretty sharply. A lot of everything is decreased, but a lot of the exquisite cards have taken a little bit of a hit. I think this particular one, though, if I'm not mistaken, I think this one has the autograph that just goes off card, and I think that makes it a 9 on the auto, and that causes a hit to the value. But the patch on it's amazing, and you know, I know how much you love this design, that classic 03 auto patch out of 100 with the big E design. I love it too, and yeah, it's a really cool Jordan patch. And if you're in the market for one of those, I think you could go a lot worse than this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know what the auto grade is, if it's on the back. I would like, you know, speaking of feedback, if we could get the whole grade in the description, not just the card grade, because you know, I wonder if this autograph coming off. Now I've said I don't really care, but it's still interesting to know, and I think it's prudent. I think that most people would like to see it. The autograph coming off the top of the card here, is that partially is that causing the grade of the auto to be a 9? And is that why it's not, you know, $10,000 more would be my question. Because if that's why, then I'm willing to, like, that's a good deal to me, right? Because I'll save 10 grand all day long because his autograph ran off the side of the card.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think the other thing that I'd say real quick that's unrelated is we've seen the clock get down to 5 seconds, Jeremy, and then we just saw it get down to 18. We might go on for a lot longer, but I always hate it when people are expecting an auction to go longer
and they want to place a bid, and then they wait too long. We're seeing them a lot of bids come in a lot fewer right now, and so we could end any minute, and just want to make people aware of that.
Well, let's keep on watching the clock. Here's a beautiful 33 Gaudy Babe Ruth SGC 5, number 149, the red background, close-up batting pose. I love all 4 of the Babe Ruth cards in the 33 Gaudy set, but this looks really sharp, like from this angle. If we open it up and just take a bit of a peek, yeah, I mean, it's got corner issue up here. Yeah, so it's a 5. It's a 5 for sure, but just presents really well to my eye. I really like that copy. Here's another. We just saw one. We saw the gold version earlier of the Tiger Woods SP Authentic rookie. Here's the regular version out of 900 and a BGS 9.5, sitting at $12,000. Seems pretty good to me. I love that card. You know, we're skipping right by a Brady championship, playoff contenders rookie ticket auto. Pretty nice card, $21,000, 0.5 away from being a BGS 9. Karn, have you ever owned a Brady contenders auto?
Yeah, I own a 7.5 championship ticket right now. So
Out
I'm
of
really
100.
so I'm really interested in the one that's in auction right now, so that we have a 7.5 up here right now. So closely looking at that.
All right. Well, we'll try and take a peek at that in a bit. Adam, anything on this grouping from your perspective?
Sorry about that. I was just checking out the other cards that are the cards on the scroll bar. I think the Aaron Rodgers is just an amazing card. You know, Find Your Trove did a post on this on Instagram. You're looking at a card that is the serial numbered one of a guy who's won multiple MVPs. It's a PSA 9. It's his best rookie card, and it sells for a fraction of what guys who are prospects sell for. So you're telling me the best rookie card, numbered out of 99, RPA, multiple MVP, everything, right? Like everything, and jersey numbered, is going to sell for less than the first, second, and third year to a long-term type card. And I love it. If I was a football collector, this would be probably the card in the auction that I'd be after.
Yeah, I think it's a great card, important card, 99 only, probably his best card. The autograph leaves a little bit to be desired. The color is starting to fade. That's a bit of a deal breaker for me, but you know, there's only 99 of them. You don't get a lot of opportunities at this card at all. So for those people who don't mind this is probably a great pickup. It's at $25,000 right now. So it's a strong number. I mean, that seems to me is like a strong number, but a good card overall. If you don't mind the auto that is somewhat faded, now you can hopefully preserve it from there. Would be my.
Imagine if Tom Brady had a card like that. That would be insane. And that goes to Adam's point, like the fact that if Tom Brady had a card like that, and Aaron Rodgers, who is up there in terms of his, he doesn't have the Super Bowl wins, but outside of that, the accolades at $25K, it looks pretty good with the jersey number 2.
It does look pretty. Oh yeah, it's jersey number. I didn't recognize that until right now. Yeah, that almost counterbalances the autograph as far as value might go, or even just relative interest, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to go to page 6. Go to a couple comments here in the meantime. Mr. Monty says, Jeremy, can you discuss the Gretzky Topps versus O-Pee-Chee card in general? I've been interested in acquiring one. Like to know your thoughts on both issues to help in my decision making. So that's a big question. I believe that's Mark. That's a big question, Mark. Not a question mark. That's a big question, Mark. I love both. The O-Pee-Chee is the more desired card by the hobby. Likely always will be, but don't discount the Topps. Look at the populations, the PSA populations in particular. You'll notice that the Topps is not like they both have PSA 10. There's 2 of each. Topps O-Pee-Chee. PSA 9. I think there's like 130 or so Topps and like maybe 95 O-Pee-Chee. So not that far off. I like both, man. But we can have a separate discussion about it. Adam, what do you got?
Well, I I feel like you buried the lead. You and I talked about those cards for an hour on the PWCC YouTube channel and broke down all of the questions you could ever have on that card. And so, and on comparing those two things. So I would go check out that video on the PWCC YouTube channel, Mark. And I think hopefully that answers your question, but literally you got an hour of Jeremy talking about that card over there.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you this too. Personally, I own a PSA 8 O-Pee-Chee and I own a PSA 9 Tops. And I bought my PSA. I wanted to buy a PSA 9 O-Pee-Chee back in the day when they were $4,000 or $5,000. I didn't. They shot up to 25, 30 grand. Now they're over 100. So then when the Tops copy was a $5,000, I said, I'm not making this mistake again. I'm going to buy one. So I did. And now it's worth, 35 plus. So I don't know, like I love both of them a lot, but it depends what you can afford. I think I'd give the O-Pee-Chee the nod. Like if I have a 50, 60, 40 O-Pee-Chee over Tops is my preference. I love both. Let's leave it at that for now, but feel free to reach out with any more questions you may have about it. Okay. Adam, were you going to jump in?
You started to scroll down and you hit Jordan Reichert's 2004 LeBron limited logo. And
look at that card. Look at that patch.
Yeah, this is one that really stood out to me because you mentioned the patch. There's really like three variables on a limited logo, right? There's the patch, which is probably the biggest one. There's the autograph, and then there's the card grade. This has all three in like the top 20%. It's one of the best autographs. It's one of the best patches. It's one of them amazing patches. But then a 9.5 on the grade, it doesn't get better than that on this card. And I've written about exquisite limited logos and sort of compared the sets and things. Aesthetically, this is, in my opinion, the best year. You can compare 08 if you don't mind. If you don't mind the cards being horizontal, but this is one of the best looking LeBron James cards in existence, and it's got just an incredible patch. And again, I think if you compare it to what it would have sold for a year ago, it's a buyer's market, guys. I would love to buy this card. It's an incredible card.
Yeah, I think it's a gorgeous card, and look how young he is there. The patch is amazing, as you said. The grade is right where you want it. I'm actually wondering, Jordan, why are you selling this card? Well, you got your eyes on something better? Because I don't know what's better. But that's an absolutely beautiful card. And good luck to you on selling it. BGS population 1 of 1, none higher. The autograph is a 10 grade as well. That's a special card. It's second year too. So you're going to get that non-rookie year discount, which I think is an amazing thing. Like, so it came out 1 year later. Who cares? It's still got game used. I think that's a game used patch.
It is. Yeah,
game used patch on card auto. LeBron James, second year exquisite. I mean, that's an amazing recipe. I almost like it, pound for pound more than the year before because you're going to save so much money.
Yeah, I mean, there's two aspects. It's rarer, and aesthetically, it's not even close. Like, if you want the rookie, granted, there's one of them, but aesthetically, the 04 limited logos, again, totally biased. I own a Kobe, and it's really an amazing card. It's like one of my favorite cards. But I'm telling you, from an aesthetics perspective, it is not close. 04 limited logos are honestly, I think they're the nicest autograph patches ever made.
Stunning.
Bar none. And this LeBron is the best one. I don't see how it's not the best one. I mean, I guess maybe the jersey numbered one, the 23 of 50, you might take that over this one, depending on the patch and the autograph, but that's just an unbelievable card.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Karn, I see you're not muted. Do you have anything to jump in with on that LeBron limited logos?
Yeah, I completely agree. There's not many better. The only one I kind of like a little better, but the autographs are kind of usually really bad on them, is I believe it's 2008, which is out of 16 or something like that. It's
2009.
2009, which is the rarest one out there. I like, those are my favorite by design in terms of rarity as well, but the autos are always poor on those ones. So in terms of like Jeremy said, pound for pound, 9.5, a good auto, great patch. You can't a second year as well. You can't kind of go past the 2004.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm a rarity guy, Karn, and so 08, I would go with an 08 over a 04 because it's, there's half of them, and I'd go with an 09 too because there's, I think it's 13 or 16 or something like that.
Yeah,
I would go with one of those two. But like, if you're after aesthetics and you're after sort of like everything that a card can give you when you put it in front of you, like this card's one of the best looking cards you will ever see. Period.
Abdeel jumped in a while ago, said nice patch on the Jordan Exquisite, which I completely agree with. Santino said that Jordan will be the Ruth and Mantle 100 years from now. I think his legend will never be forgotten. I think it's even bigger than that, guys. I think it's bigger than what Santino was saying. I think that Michael Jordan is the Babe Ruth of today's generation, or the last 30 years, and including now into the future. I think Michael Jordan will be the biggest name of all, bigger than Babe Ruth, bigger than Mickey Mantle, bigger than Muhammad Ali, bigger than Pele. I think he will be the biggest name in this history of sports at the end of the day. I mean,
hey Jeremy, have you looked at the leaderboard to see what the Mahomes Black has done?
I haven't.
It is totally. So I think last time we saw it was like 120. It's at 200 now, so it's at 240 out the door. The Mahomes stuff, I think kind of the secret's out. A lot of that stuff sat really low, up until today.
Now.
And there's some people who are still hoping that it won't go any higher, but there were definitely a few people today really wondering, what the Mahomes market was going to do. And it's good to see it. It's good to see it ticking up a little bit.
There's a LeBron Kaboom, Gem Mint 10, $36,000. I'm not sure what year that is, but that's a pretty cool looking card right there. Ooh, look at this. We're getting to some 61 Fleers down here. I think we're just, I skipped too much good stuff here. First of all, I love the maze. I talked about that in the pre-show. Beautiful PSA 5.5 copy. It does have a fisheye in the name bar and a slight print line coming down right about here, but a really nice copy nonetheless. And then looky over here, guys, 2 PMG red football cards, and probably the two best ones, Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice. I love these. I bought a copy of the Rice in the auction several months back now, but love the card. I would love to pair it with this, but I'm just not in a position to spend $16,000 on a card today, or I guess that would be 18 or 19.2 right now. So I'm going to sit it out, but great cards right there. And then these two. Look at this beautiful pairing. That's an SGC 8. That's an SGC 8. Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, 61 Fleers. I see right away the registration on this one is almost perfect. I got to zoom in on this, Adam, because oftentimes you will see on this card a little bit of white right under the armpit here. This card does not have that. Very rare. You often see a lot of registration issues up here in the feet and this white, whatever this white thing is of this character here, and this logo. You're not seeing that. This might be this card, guys. Wow. Like, this is nicer than many PSA 9s that I've seen. Many. I haven't seen as many, but this is very strong. You can see it's a little bit off center side to side, but that's okay. This card is almost impossible to find centered anyway. But from a registration perspective, you can't beat this. You can't beat this particular copy. And I know, because I've looked at many. I own a beautiful copy myself, but it's got white under the armpit here, and I wish it didn't, but it does, and I'm okay with it, because to get into a card like this, what's this card sitting at right now? $50K. I wonder if the people bidding on this card know how good it is. I'm guessing that some don't know how good this Karn. You're chomping at the bit. What do you got?
So I was actually getting a phone call about like 2 minutes prior from you talking about the Wilt Chamberlain there, and it's from a buddy of mine that's kind of trying to convince himself to win that card today, and he's talking about how great the registration is. And I just texted him back, and I'm like, if you just heard Jeremy talk about this card, you would go for it 100%. And I texted that to him right now because he was saying exactly what you were saying. It was the best copy that he's ever seen. So yeah, it looks like a beautiful, beautiful card, and it has that top 15% PWCC sticker as well. So to answer your question, I think people are noticing how great that copy is. And that's why it's doing pretty well. I think PSA 8s sell for less than what it's going for right now. So people are understanding it.
I got to see this one in hand, and there's this, and then there's the Jerry West too. They're both from the same seller, and the comment that I made in the video was, it's clear to me that there's a high end, a really high end vintage basketball guy, like one of the best vintage basketball sets in the collections in the world, who's letting go of some of these, because both the West and the Chamberlain, they're I don't want to say flawless, but I don't know that I've ever seen a nicer copy of either card. They're just incredible.
Yeah, this West is beautiful too. The registration is absolutely bang on. I'm really impressed with these two cards. Like this one here, this is a treasure as far as I'm concerned. Like go look at other copies of this card and tell me how many you find that don't have that white under the armpit. It's most of them do. I mean, it's very rare to find one like this, and if you do, it's probably in a VGX condition anyway, because it's hard to get everything to be so right. And this one, like, I'm gushing over this card, guys. And the centering's not perfect, like left to right, it's off. You can see this is narrower here than over here, but that's okay. This card is impossible centered anyway, so this is very strong centering. I don't know how SGC worked when it had this 88 scale. I know there weren't 100 grades. There was like 17 or something like that available. They only hit 17 out of 100 or something like that. Adam.
It went to 92, which was an 8.5, and then 96, which was a mint. 98 was gem, and then 100 was a pristine. But I'm with you, Jeremy. Like, you sort of look at it and go, what more could you want out of the card? 55, 45 side to side, maybe about the same top to bottom. Both this and the West, not shockingly, were each given really high-end PWCC eye appeal stickers. This is a top 15%. The West is top 5%. And to me, that checks out. Again, I don't know that there's nicer copies of this card out there.
Yeah, the West, the centering on the West, right to left, looks like perfect. Maybe it's 49-51. Top to bottom, same thing. It's a tad low, but it's not way low. But these are, what a pair. What an amazing pair of cards. 50 here on Wilt, 12 on Jerry. Yeah, someone's going to be very happy with these cards when they bring them in hand. No doubt about that. Guys, I kind of whipped past these PMGs here, these football cards. Did either of you have a comment on them? No, that's fine. Okay, let's keep going.
No, I would comment real quick.
Yeah,
I would comment real quick on them and on all of the non-basketball parallels across all the sports that really like took off in basketball. We just keep seeing people looking for those. They keep being sort of the cards that are driving auctions, and so both of these stand out to me in that way. It's one of the nicest 90s berries. It's one of the nicest 90s Jerry's, and they're both awesome. On this next page though, I want to hear what you have to say about this Russell.
Yeah, I just opened it up, so let's take a look at it. Before we talk about it, I just want to do a couple of quick comments here. Santino said, if O-Pee-Chee was a Canadian company and Topps was American, why did they use the same image? The answer, Santino, is that Topps licensed it to O-Pee-Chee, who then printed it under license from Topps. So they had a partnership basically that stemmed all the way back to the 50s when O-Pee-Chee was actually distributing Topps cards on behalf of Topps within Canada before O-Pee-Chee was even a thing in 68. Never mind with their brief existence from 33 to 41, but that was a different era. So I just wanted to get that out of the way for you, Santino. Jordan is funding other purchases. Well, good stuff. Congratulations. You're welcome. I mean, you don't have to thank us for the kind words. The card deserved the kind words. I want to make that very clear. Jake says the Wilt is a beauty. Yes, it is. Santino say it may be a counterfeit. It looks like it was printed today. Well, I don't think it is. That was graded by SGC probably 20 years ago just by the label. So I certainly don't think that's the case. And Monty bid on the West. Great commentary, guys. Well, good luck on that, because that's an amazing card. Vintage says that West could grade a PSA 9. Gorgeous. Yeah, I agree. And I think that the Wilt could grade an 8.5 or a 9 even by PSA. I think that card is a I've said enough. Bill Russell. I love the Bill Russell rookie card. 57 tops. This is a BGS 7.5. Probably gonna sell at a discount because people generally don't like the BVG slab. They want their vintage cards in PSA or SGC holders. But you got to look at the card, guys, and not let an opportunity pass you by. This may be one of those cases. Looking at the card, Adam, I mean, listen, top to bottom centering, wonderful. Left to right, off center to the right. But like, let's face it, find me a centered Russell rookie as it goes. But I always look to this black background and how dark is it? Is there any snow? Are there any fish eyes? I personally own a copy of this card. I love my copy, but it's got some green fish eyes in it in this black background. I wish they weren't there, but sometimes, you get what you can afford. And this one doesn't have any fish eyes. I'm not seeing any. Okay, I see one right here above the T, but it's really small. Doesn't bother me. I'd be okay with that. Bottom right corner, bit of rounding. Bottom left corner, better than the right one. Top corners, left is good. Right has something going on there. Nothing crazy. Edges look good top to bottom. I mean, edges are great. Registration is really good. I always look to his eyes, guys, for the Russell, for the registration. His eyes are like right where you want them to be. So, above his nose, under his forehead sort of thing. I think, this is a great copy. Great copy. I mean, gosh, what's this sitting at right now? $20,000. Like, if this was a PSA 7.5, I don't know exactly what it would be, but at least double that. So
more, way more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, so we talked about this one a little bit in our vintage group. This is another one of those cards. If I could bid, it might be like one of the 2 or 3 cards in the auction that I would be looking at actually bidding on right now. And it's because as a BVG card, it gets dinged, but you have to look at the card for what it is. You have to look at the condition of the card for what it is. And you've just gone through it. Like, this is one of the nicest Bill Russell cards I've ever seen. Truly. Like, it really is. I'm not just blowing smoke. This is one of the nicest Russell rookies I've ever seen. So the fact that it's in a BGS holder or BVG holder doesn't make any difference to me. I think if I remember right, it's either the highest. I don't remember if there was an 8 that was graded by BGS or by BVG. Hopefully somebody in the chat can check for us, but it's one of the highest graded examples that's ever been graded by them. And, I love when you can find a card that sells for a lot less because it's in a specific holder. Look at the card itself. And then think about this. It was graded in the 7 millions. It hasn't been out of that holder in over 10 years. To me, that really matters, because if you're thinking, is this a card that I can cross? Nobody's ever cracked it out and tried, right? Nobody's ever thought, I'm going to go send this to PSA. And they haven't. If they would have tried that, it wouldn't be in a case that's over 10 years old. And so, if you're a gambling person, if it's a 7.5, Jeremy, it's a like $100,000 card in PSA. It's a huge, huge card. So if you're a gambling person and you want to try that, I'm not advocating. I would personally buy it and just love it in its case that it's in, and I would never take it out. But that
you always have the option. You always have the option if you want to cross it over, but I wouldn't mess with it either. Quick hello to Danny Kung. What's up with you? Welcome to the show. I just brought out my picture of my Bill Russell, and I want to show it to you guys. I'm gonna just take this one off for a second so we're a bit bigger here. But this is my copy, and I want to look at these. You see those 2 green circles on either side of his head? I wish they weren't there. That's what you're looking for on a Bill Russell rookie, is for those not to be there. Now, my card, just so you know, like, my card is a gorgeous card. There it is in its entirety. It's a stunning copy. Look at this. It's a beautiful copy. So, but I had to sacrifice something, and that's what I sacrificed, was that one big one right above his shoulder there. Like, you know, I don't love that about the card. That said, I love the card overall. Back to the copy that we're talking about here, it doesn't have any of those. So that makes this copy extra special to me, is that it doesn't have those green fish eyes, which you'll see on a lot of the examples of the card. So like Adam said, if you want to buy a Bill Russell rookie card in high grade for about 60% off, this is the copy. And then you have the option to send it to PSA down the road. And, you know, because that might garner more value, but at the end of the day, the card's still the card. And I'd be happy with it either way. So yeah, great card.
Hey, Jeremy, we've seen a couple of comments now on the Ohtani Topps Transcendent. And I got, I don't know, maybe a dozen messages about this card today after I posted on my Instagram. I wonder if we could go just take a quick look at that one. I don't know if it's coming up quick, but it does feel like we're getting to the end of it and we haven't had time to talk about it. I just want to hear both you and Karn talk about what you think about this card.
Okay, so before we do, let me just do this and open that image up there. And I'm going to close. I'm not going to close that. I'm going to back that up to there. And we're going to go here. So I saw this card somewhere today. Maybe it was on PWCC's Instagram or somewhere on Twitter. And I thought it was one of those mock-ups that people are doing of like the 48 Jackie Robinson with that gold vinyl superfractor background. And I realized, no, this is an actual card. I'll tell you guys, I don't collect baseball, modern baseball Ohtani, but if I did, this card, it checks all the boxes. What I'm talking about, beautiful picture of the player. That gold background with the superfractor design is second to none. The 52 Topps design, come on. Is that, I don't know if that's an on-card auto or
it is. It checks every box.
Card auto. BGS 9.5. You got 10 edges, 9 centering. Big deal. It's a 101, right? Superfractors are 101. So it's a 101. So luckily it graded a 9.5. Listen, if I was, what's this card at? Like, what's it even? I don't have the price. I backed out of it.
I think it's at like 57.
Yeah,
it's
57.5. 57.5 before BP.
Doesn't seem like a lot. Is it what year?
It's a rookie card.
It's a rookie card. How is this? This should be his best card in existence. Why isn't it? What's better than that? And I ask because I don't know.
I think the fact that it says Transcendent on it rather than Bowman Chrome, obviously, or brand, like that's the whole story. But from an aesthetics perspective, Jeremy, like I'm in love with this card. Like
it doesn't say Transcendent on the front. Just says top rookie card.
The Topps logo, the RC, the on card, the superfractor, the 1/1, the perfect portrait. It's like every once in a while you get a card you see and you're like, this is perfect. This gives me everything that I want. I think, and he's the guy right now. He's the guy in baseball.
He's killing it. He's killing. He actually just threw his fastest pitch ever today, his personal fastest pitch. So he's got a lot of things going for him, and there's a potential chance he's changing teams and he might go to a competitive team. So there's a lot of things that could happen with Ohtani that play a role in his potential increase in prices on his card. So I completely agree with you guys. This card is just it's just gorgeous. It's just, when you look at it, you get that kind of attraction to it. It's amazing.
It only says Transcendent here. Like this is, again, I got to reach to my camera, slap the hobby a little bit, because you're missing out if we as a hobby are valuing this card less because it says Transcendent instead of Bowman Chrome or something like that. Like,
Jeremy, it's also because baseball collectors actually don't value the rookie card as much as the prospect card, which is kind of backwards in my opinion, because we're so in other genres like hockey, for example, like the CHL card has no value whatsoever. Bedard is kind of changing that a little bit, but with baseball, it's all about the prospect pre-rookie card. So yeah, it's kind of backwards and a little weird, but completely agree.
So to me, this card is a standout. I didn't. Yeah, I love it. I love it, guys. Sorry, Adam, please.
I was just gonna say we've seen so many of the Bowman Chrome, and I'm not gonna take anything away from that card because that's a beloved, iconic, important card. If what you care about is like aesthetics and rarity, and again, I think some of those things really win out in the long term. I really do. Like, that's one of the nicest cards I've seen in hand, and it really stood out to me. I sort of looked at it and I went. And then I looked at I looked at like the estimated price, and I thought, how is this card not exactly what you said, Jeremy? How is this like not his best card or one of his best cards?
Oh, it's over, guys. The auction ended.
Did it really?
Yeah, auction's over.
It must have just ended.
Yeah, like when I just flicked the switch there, I think. So yeah, wow. Okay. Well,
snuck up on us.
What's that?
Snuck up on us, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. That was a little anticlimactic. Usually we're more on it, but we were so entranced by this Shohei Ohtani card, which is, I think, worthy of us getting a little carried away with it. But now we can look and see what some cards sold for. There's the championship ticket, authentic auto 9. Did $132,000. I think is that the one you were watching, Karn, or is there a 7.5?
No, there's another. Yeah, there's another copy, 7.5. I think it did 240 or something like that.
So there's 2 out of 100 in this auction tonight.
Correct. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem with that card. It comes up way too often.
Yeah, that's a card that changes hand. Look at this beautiful Willie Mays on card auto, VG3 on the card, 7 on the auto, $24,000 for this first Topps card, the 52. I know these things are starting to catch steam, and I'm sure there's a very proud owner of that card as of today. I was reading about this card earlier somewhere, probably on PWCC's Instagram, but something like 3,000 of these have been graded, and there's like 29s and 110 or something like that. Harmon Killebrew. That's pretty cool. So let's do this now, guys. Since it's over, let's go back to page 1 and let's just sort of see what some of these sales, what these cards sold for. We'll do some comments and then we'll wrap up. But the Lotus does $540, Adam, $540,000 for the autographed case Black Lotus. Big number to me.
That card got picked up on eBay, I think last year, within 10 minutes of it being listed. I think it was last year, 2 years ago, at $300K. So whoever picked that one up is extremely happy at the price today.
And you came on after we talked about it. The Steph Curry does 111. The Mantle, beautiful SGC 7.5, does 96. The LeBron rookie year limited logos does 156. Is this game worn patch, Adam?
Yes,
it is. Okay, well that's good to know. Coming down, Mahomes NTRPA 69,000. The Black Label Trout does 120. Is that high, low? What were you expecting, or what were you hoping for, Adam?
Man, I just had no idea. Like, I think we saw the huge sale of the 1 of 1. $4 million, and you sort of wonder how a card that's 1 of 1 because of condition, right? It's a pop one, how it will compare. And obviously we know it's gonna sell for way less, but I think it's somewhat disappointing. I thought it was going to sell for quite a bit more, but I don't really know that market super well, so I don't really know that I have the authority to say.
And it's also at a 225. We've seen that red one out of 5, I think, sell for in
$1 million.
$1 million. So that's what I want to do. Some comments before I keep going here, because there's some good ones here that I don't want to get too past. But Danny Kung, after coming into the room, said, "I can stare at that Topps Transcendent Ohtani all freaking day, man." Like, that's my point. That's what cards are about. You want to stare at them all day. And that card is me too, Danny. And then there's a great point here by Jacob, says, and it's agnostic to pitching and hitting, which
Yep.
I think is a great point, a great comment right there. Benny, thank you for being here as always. UNC says that Shohei could become iconic one day. I agree. It's iconic to me already, and I only saw it for the first time today. That's how much I like it. Definitely love that card for sure. Santino, it always goes back to brands, and Bowman Chrome is the top brand for now. And I don't mean it won't be, but I just mean it is right now. But things do change over time. Not that will, but you just never know. Buy a house or a Lotus. Let me think. Yeah, lots of options with the money we put into cards. Let's keep on going here. Oh my gosh, 186K. Remember when they were telling me to buy that card earlier tonight, Adam, when it was like 50 or 60? It tripled.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm not buying it, because it sold for 186,000. The Jordan 252.
Huge sale.
Yeah.
It's a good sale for right now in the marketplace. Definitely. LeBron Logo Man does a measly $78,000. Is that because he's on Cleveland in this card from what year? 2014. So is that his second stint back in Cleveland?
I think it's strong for a non-autograph. Every time I see it.
Oh, non-auto. My bad.
That's what it usually goes for. And it's out of 3 as well, not a 1-of-1.
Okay. Thank you. That clarifies that. The PSA 4 Mantle does 90K. The Jordan, that seems really good. That seems like a good deal to me right now on a 4. That's a really nice 4 outside of centering, a really nice copy. Jordan Gold out of 100. Jordan Woods out of 100 does 45,600. Keep on. Giannis does 78 for his NTRPA. This 69,000 on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Punch Out 13.8. 13.2 on a Babe Ruth ball seems a little low to me, but I don't follow it that closely. Mitch Grotman, thanks for being here tonight as always. Vintage says it's hard for a 1-of-1 to be truly iconic because you don't see it often enough. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a really good point. The Playmakers Theater, one of my favorites, says 84K. The Griffey doubled since we looked at it, I think, Adam, to 48,000. Really nice Ted Williams. PSA 8 does 43. Adam's favorite Babe Ruth card does 50,000. The 3.5 Mantle with beautiful centering sells for the same amount as the 4 did. I like when that happens. It tells me that people are, you're buying the card. Somebody valued centering more than surface. Well, not more, but at least as much as surface, and didn't really care about the grade. And that's what I like to see. The Steph Logo Man does $45,000. The LeBron card with the Kobe cameo does $54,000. The gold version out of 50, very cool card. Luka NT does 66. I mean, weren't these going for 250 a couple years ago?
Yep.
Good time to be buying. The SGA, the card that me and Adam almost went through our cameras today on this card. Oh, yeah. $228,000. That's enough money to tell me that people believe in SGA. Lotus does 108. Jordan, limited logos. That seems like a steal. I don't know, guys. That seems like a steal to me at $35,000. Okay, the Gretzky Tops 9 does 43.2. I think that's in line. I think there was one of these I think there was one in the weekly a couple of weeks ago. I think it did more. I don't remember exactly. If anyone knows, let me know. But I think it did more than that. Jordan autograph jersey 55.2. Jordan 05 exquisite limited logos $60,000. Some nice. I think these prices are just coming in fair. Luka horizontal 22K dual auto. We didn't even talk about this. Jordan LeBron does $25,000.
I love that card. I love that dual. Those SP Game Used. I know SP Game Used is not the brand, but that year they just freaking knocked those dual autos out of the park. I love that card.
Yeah. Look at this. Diamond points out the MJ. One of the exquisites I just went by was 23 of 50. So that's good to know. That I didn't notice that as we're going by. Adam Baum does $15,000. Josh Allen 28. KD Logo Man 25.8. Jackie, look at that. 53 tops Jackie. Hey, let's just take a look at the color of the name box there. See, this is even better than the Hank Aaron was, than the Willie Mays. But but it graded higher as well. It graded half a point higher. That might have been the difference. Kawhi does 14.4. Mahomes does 69,000. Lotus 60. Mantle 22.8. Jordan 22.8.
Hey, can we talk about the Maze and the Jackie real quick? Or not Maze? Yeah, but like Jackie in 52 tops, I think is really like gotten to that same sort of level as the Maze, right? They're viewed as like really close as the second and third best card. But here we are looking at the 53. I think there's just no question the Maze is just such a good looking card, right? It's an incredible looking card. It sold for way higher today than the Jackie did. And I wonder if that sort of like recognition of how nice the card is. I think somebody said that it's also short printed, so I'm sure that has some huge amount to do with it too.
Yeah.
But it sold for way more. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think the Maze is recognized as I don't know, maybe it's because I was gushing over so much and people are bidding because I love the card. I half jest, but I sometimes wondered, did that have any impact on the bid? I don't know. It shouldn't have. I think it's just I think we have to look at populations to really get an understanding. That it would, and without knowing that, I think we're just speculating. So I'd rather not get in too deep on that. But I think that would be quite indicative of where it is. Very quickly, my partner on the Sunday night show says that the Gretzky Tops 9 sold for the exact same amount in the weekly. So thank you for that, Josh. Appreciate that. 450 has the question of the night. We want to know what Karn bought.
Yes.
If anything. Karn, did you win something?
I was going after the Luka Doncic 101 black optic. I did not win it though. I thought it was a great price. It seems like a good price for that card. On card auto black. Went for 75. I tapped out, I think, at 62.5. So
all right. Well, sorry you didn't get to buy a card tonight. 28.8 on this beautiful Babe Ruth, 39.6 on the SP Authentic LeBron, 35,000 for the Jaw, 21.6 for the Kobe EX. This one here, 22.2. That is, someone I think mentioned the comments that was low. Yeah, Adam Crawford said here that went crazy cheap. Yeah, I pretty much agree. That's this card. When you compare it to what his cup rookies go for, this is too cheap. This should have been double in but hey, the market is what the market is. So we say should have. Well, should it have been or should it have been 22.2? We'll let the market decide maybe next time this card or a similar one comes up for auction. Tom Brady does 36,000 there, the non-numbered version. There's the Tatum does 39.6. I mean, seems right to me, I guess. Kobe 26.4. Oh, the emblems of endorsement LeBron 55.2 for an 08. I mean, that's nice to see. Hey, Adam, I mean, what's it numbered out of?
10. It's one of
10 right there. Yeah. That's a rare card. And it's pretty much a basic, it's a weak 2-color patch.
Yeah.
That says about how important this card is and how rare it is, really.
Yeah, I feel like the patch on this one maybe hurts it a little bit. That's one of the cards in the auction that I probably would have been after if I could have been bidding.
The Champ Hardware, Jordan does 22.8. The Bird Magic rookie, PSA 9, 19.2. Who's that? Oh, Giannis Logo Man does 28.2. The Hemet's Journal, 28.8. The Gretzky 8 does 14.4. And that had the above average eye appeal. I think what hurt that is that left-hand border. And I think that's right. I don't know that I'm so in agreement with the eye appeal designation on this particular copy, but 14.4 is a decent price. If it was a bit cleaner on that left edge, I could see that getting, selling for about $3,000 to $4,000 more. There's the ultimate LeBron, does $66,000. Very nice copy and a PSA 10. Karn, were you at all looking at this card?
Yeah, just for me, it's all about the auto on that card, and the auto is kind of poor on that version, that copy. If the auto was good, that's a 6-figure card easily. So,
let's see what you're talking about there. Oh, just that little bit of a smudge there, and then that little weak gap there.
Yeah, the grade is like pretty easy on this card. You see a lot of gem mints, 9.5s. You don't see a lot of PSA 10s, but everyone's looking at the autograph.
Great looking card overall, though. Like just a beautiful card. This Brady, I mean, this card I think was doing a lot more in the past. At 24.6, I feel like that was doing closer to 100 grand.
200 at some point. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it might have been like higher grades or a jersey number or something, but I remember that card selling for 200 plus.
That's a classic case where the card, when you saw several of them come to market over the course of 6 months, and it just really submarined the price.
So Santino asks, how much commission does PWCC get? So Santino, it's a 20% buyer's premium.
Hey, let me just answer that real quick, Jeremy. So Jeremy's right. The 20% buyer's premium is in place, and you can see the price afterwards. But go to the website, click on marketplaces, click on how it works. In the bottom left, you'll see the great thing about PWCC is that we're really super transparent about what the rates are. And so when it comes to Premier Auction, if a card sells for over $1 million, we only take you take the base price, and then 15% of the 20% of the buyer's premium also goes to the seller. So in most cases, we're giving back some of the buyer's premium, especially on the higher dollar stuff. The seller is actually getting quite a bit of it back, as much as 3/4 of it back. Oh, you're muted, Jeremy. You're on mute, Jeremy. You're still on mute. Jeremy's mute. Maybe
there we go. I'm back. Sorry, guys. I was just going to say all that information is available on pwccmarketplace.com. Okay, couple comments here. A few more. Only one. Mitch says the ICE RPA Connor McDavid selling for almost what the PMG sold for is bonkers to me. The PMG sold for 20,400, and what the ICE do, like 22. I think he's saying it's bonkers because the ICE comes with a patch and it comes with an auto, and the PMG comes with nothing. The PMG is out of 150 and the ICE is out of 10. You do that math, it does seem bonkers. I think that the ICE was underpriced. I don't know how that's not a $60,000 card.
And I think, Jeremy, just to add to that, if you go back, 2019, 2020, that ICE was probably a $20,000 card in 2020. And this PMG was probably $500, $550 maybe. So it just shows the meteoric rise of PMGs in hockey. And I completely agree. It seems like that ICE undersold rather than the PMG kind of overselling. I think this price makes sense as well. So yeah, someone got a great price on that ICE.
Well, I have this card here in a PSA 10, and I'm going to see if I can find what I paid for that really quick here. I don't know. I'll be able to do it really quick, but I'm going to try and find. Oh, I think I found it. Oh, you guys are going to die when I tell you what I paid for that card. I bought this card in a PSA 10. I bought it in November of 2019. Oh, you're going to hate me. I paid $146.45 US for it.
So I paid like $800 for it, and I thought I was early. And you were at $146.
$146.45.
I remember I got the blue and the red for like both of them PSA 10 for like $1,800 or something like that. So,
well, I wonder what I paid for the blue.
That's crazy.
Let me see if I can find what I paid for the blue, because it's also a PSA 10. I've never owned the green. Of course, I'd love to. The blue.
And I think that kind of shows the importance of, North American wide appeal to a specific brand or insert set. When, Americans come in and they're looking at hockey cards, in recent times, they're going to go towards cards that they're used to and they understand. And I think that's what the PMG does. It's something that they can easily attach kind of their own emotions and attractions to. And the ICE, you really can't. So I think it's simple as that.
Yeah. I bought my blue copy the next month. I bought it in December 2019. I paid $925 Canadian for it. So that's all right. I'll take that.
Is there anything that has risen across the board like PMGs have in the last 5 years? It's crazy.
Tough to say. I mean, you can't say jambalayas because I think they've always been there, especially the basketball. I don't know. It's a good question. Let's see what else there is here that we want to call out. Let me know, guys, if I pass anything that you'd like to just mention the price on, or I think we saw the Rogers does 30,000. So it was at 25 when we looked at it. That's what it finished at, 5,000 in buyer's premium. We'll go to the next page here. Dual logo man, Jaw and Zion does 8,400, no autos, but 101. That seems like a decent price to me.
Yeah, what would that have done in 2019, right? Like, what would have that done? Like, it would have been a huge card.
That's one of those, this is one of the themes that we keep seeing is that brand just matters so much, right? People don't. But
like even off-brand back when the craze was going on, like
for sure.
And I'm really curious to see because I have a lot of Ja Morant cards that are kind of just sitting on in fixed price auctions, and I'm getting a lot of offers this last week after he had that incident. It's almost like people are going bargain shopping now, and volume and activity is rising on Ja Morant cards because of what happened. So that's interesting.
Well, he's like one of the most electric players in the NBA. He's one of those guys that every night on the highlight you're going to see him do something that just makes you just drops your jaw, right? He's incredible, but now he's sort of worked his way. I say worked his way into this pendulum player situation. Is he going to be great, or is he going to have off the court stuff that just prevents him from doing anything? And that I think makes some people say, I want to go long on him. And so I'm not surprised you're getting more offers, but I think it also makes some people say I need to get out of his stuff.
Yeah, and I heard his apology statement today, and he speaks about himself in third person, and that was pretty funny.
Well, here's an important comment from Tristan. The Jaw Zion dual logo man is hat logo man, not jersey. So that is a big difference right there. And huge difference. Mitch makes the point that Gretzky shields have 20x'd in the last 5 years. Used to be around 5K. Now they're six figures. So there's another one. Although there's probably like 4 of those in existence versus, way more on the PMG side of things. But yeah, it's some cards
PMGs are like 200 to 2,000x in some cases. So
some cards pop. The Willie Mays.
I don't know what I paid for my PMG Jordan.
What's that?
Do you want to know what I paid for my PMG Jordan?
Which one is it? The red?
No, it's the PMG Championship.
Oh, right. I love that card.
So I paid like $5,000 for that card.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The world of PMGs is just over the last 10 years.
Yeah, gone nuts. So Jordan Riker's card does 45.6. So congratulations to him. This beautiful Maze 5.5 does 21.6. I think that's actually really low for that. I think that should have been sold for more money, but maybe, hey, it did what it did. Look at these. So the Jerry does 18. The Barry does 19.2. I was expecting him to sell for about $6,000 to $7,000 higher, in that 25 to 27 range on this one, and low 20s on this one. So I think the buyer's very happy. I think the seller's not going to be very happy with those two right there. Is my thoughts on that. And let's see what happens. 66 on the Wilt, great buy, and 16.2 on the Jerry, also a great buy. I wonder if M. Monty ended up buying that one, if he won it at the end of the day. The Russell does 25.8, another steal of a deal. 31.8 on the Tiger Woods regular SP Authentic card. Okay, I'm gonna do. I want to look at. We had another comment from Mitch somewhere here, or maybe it was Josh. It is Josh actually here. He says the last sale for the McDavid Ice RPA was 11.3K in 2018. I think people see Ice more as the Premier out of 99 and not the RPAs. And he's right. The Ice Premiers out of 99, which are just an acetate card with no other bells and whistles, are the true rookie. The Ice Premiers auto patches are a parallel, but they're a way better parallel. They're out of 10. They got ice, they got patch, and they got auto. So I think it's a lack of recognition by, I I don't know what it is, to be honest, but I think it's a bit of a mistake by the hobbies part. I also don't think that the last sale was actually in 2018. I've seen that card on the market.
They're sold.
I've seen that card sell since 2018. Okay.
I know a Matthews copy that sold for almost 20K recently. So
Austin Matthews did.
Yeah. So to put McDavid at 22 US is pretty. And I talk Canadian sometimes when I'm talking hockey cards. So because
somebody got a steal. Someone got a steal on that tonight. Oh, and Monty did get the Jerry West. Congrats. Hey, you're welcome. I think that's a great buy, Mark. Great buy. Congratulations on that acquisition. And as we come down, what's this? Connor McDavid Young Guns foil does 19.2. Like, okay. Oh, it's a BGS 10. Okay. Listen, I do not approve of that price on that card. I'm just not a fan of the card, but that's me. That's my personal.
It's not a bad looking card. Have you had one in person? It's not bad. It's a nice card.
I've seen them in person. I don't know.
So just some education for that one. You needed 5 Young Guns and Upper Deck E-Pack to kind of transform the regular Young Guns into a silver foil. So that's essentially a culmination of 5 Young Guns in one card.
But Karn, I'm also not a fan of that. I'm not buying into like the achievements and E-Pack and that stuff. Like, there's a card I really like right now. And I said to someone at Upper Deck yesterday, I said, are there going to be achievements of it? Because if there are, I'm not going to buy the base copy, because as soon as you put out achievement, it kind of ruins the card for me. And he said no achievements. I said, okay, good. I'm going to buy that card then. So
unless, look, I did the Austin Matthews version in 2016, and only one person did it on E-Pack, and that was me, and it was 25 Young Guns, and that Sparkle Young Guns. It's a really nice looking card. So I agree with you. At the same time, it does take away the luster, but at the same time, that chase is just so much fun online.
Yeah, fair enough. And hey, I've never been an E-Pack person, but I know that there are, and that's hey, that's great. That's helping keep Upper Deck in business. It's a very successful channel for them. Santino says a steal is $146 Canadian. Yeah, touche, Santino. Touche. Well said, and I'm happy to be the benefactor of that. Anthony Davis, 2012 Prism Gold, 10,800. I think that would have been a lot more.
That was a lot more. A lot more.
That sold for, gosh, did that sell for 140?
Yeah, it was something. I'm gonna check right now, but it was something crazy. I'll tell you that.
It was April. It was April of 2021, Karn. There was an auction that had Davis, Lillard, and all of those rookies have it always happens this way. People
181,000.
How much?
181,000.
Yeah. Anthony Davis just doesn't. I hate to say this. Nobody collects Anthony Davis.
Sorry. Yeah. That Anthony Davis card sold for 181 and now it's sold for 12.
Yep. And a PSA 9 too. So worst grade.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy.
And from what I understand, Adam, if you remember, the Anthony Davis logo man sold for $1 million. No.
Yeah, I think Alt bought that, if I remember right. I
mean, not even 12.
Anthony Davis was, he was the guy. He was so popular for a couple years. We always joke that I bought my wife's minivan with Anthony Davis cards, because I really did. I was super long on Anthony Davis, but the thing that was really clear is he just gets hurt all the time, and he doesn't have like this clear like sexy brand, right? And so I just looked at it one day and I went, I can't keep holding this stuff. He's gonna go down, and he's won a championship, but does he have a brand? Like, do you think
his brand is? I think they call him Street Clothes. I think that's his nickname. So,
it's too
question
bad.
for you, Adam. Jake Dahl wants to know: has Magic Johnson gone up at all? And if not, why? Because Magic's the man.
Well, we saw. Do you remember that Magic that we had last?
I do. That was the honorable numbers. I think it was.
It's called the finalists, or it's not honorable numbers. It's
something like that, though, wasn't it? Out of well, in any event, that's one card. Let's talk about overall though.
So Magic Johnson is one of those
Titleists. Mitch to
I
the
was closer.
rescue.
It wasn't anywhere near honorable numbers. Finalist was way close to. Magic Johnson's one of those guys who's plagued by a lot of autographs, no clear ultra rare insert cards. And so, if I was to ask you guys, like, what's the best Magic Johnson card? There's an easy answer, right? It's a rookie card. What's second best?
Limited logos.
Like some of the exquisite stuff, right? Like that's pretty much it. Then you get into like his gold prisms. Like he doesn't have really cool rare stuff. So some of his stuff has seen a real bump. But he just doesn't have a lot of stuff out there.
Look at this. Magic Johnson's HIV announcement was on the day I was born, November 7th, 1991. And here's something else that happened that day. I bought my first Magic Johnson rookie on that exact day because I heard about it on the news. I knew where there was one for sale in Winnipeg, and I went to the card shop and bought it from them that day.
What'd you pay? What'd you pay for it?
I think it was $300.
Oh wow. It
later graded out a PSA 8.
I was 8, Jeremy, when that happened. So I was not spending $300 on a card that day.
I was 19 years old, and I was working in a video rental store, and that's when it happened. Oh no. I just gotten back from Australia in November 91, and I was about to open up my LCS actually. Yeah, that's what it was. Joe Sakic says we are linked together in history. Yes, we are, Alex. Yes, we are. Jacob S says, wow, Mahomes rookie Black Prism auto was a great buy for around the same price as Herbert's. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me that he would sell for about the same price as Herbert. He should be much more than Herbert. Is Herbert already have a couple of Super Bowls baked in? Like that just doesn't make sense.
It's what we talked about with the Aaron Rodgers. It's the same thing. It's like, how many of these guys would you just kill for them to have the same career as Aaron Rodgers? And here's his RPA that's jersey numbered, and it sold for, what was it, $30,000? Man.
I saw. It was 3X, says Jacob S. Oh, on the Mahomes. So never mind. Okay. Thanks, Jacob, for clearing that up. Okay. It wasn't nearly close. Okay, so first of all, tomorrow morning, I have my internet guys coming to fix my issue. It was diagnosed today. It's actually not something with my modem. It's the line from the back lane to the house that's being fixed tomorrow. So that issue should go away, thankfully. And I'm sorry about those issues today. Guys, though, we're ready to wrap up. Any final? Oh, Adam, why don't you talk a bit, if you don't mind, about the PWCC Iconic 100 bracket? I think you said it's starting tomorrow. Yeah. Tell people how to get involved in that, because that looks like fun.
Yeah, it should be way fun. Just check out our social tomorrow. We wanted to do something really fun and entertaining during the tournament. Part of us wanted to do it starting today, where you had all the games happening today, and then you could have gone and voted on. What we've done is we've taken the top 64 cards from the Iconic 100, and we're lining them up against each other. So, you've got 1 seeds and 16 seeds starting in the beginning. The 1 seeds will be the Jordan rookie, the Mantle 52, the Honus, the Babe Ruth, and then they'll go against the 16s. And to you guys, it'll be up to the viewers to see what moves on. And we're just really excited to see, how people vote, because that might be very different than how, the small group of people voted when we actually, did the ranking. It will be different, obviously.
I'll definitely get my votes in on those. That is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Karn, anything you'd like to say as a parting comment?
Yeah, just that's super fun monthly to be on this PWCC Premier show, and it's the hobby is healthy, and I keep loving seeing the auction every month and seeing these new cards come in, and I can't wait to see what's in store next month.
Well, you keep on bidding on auctions while we're on, and you're the special guest for the.
You got to win something, though, man. You got to win something.
Hey, it's starting to brew, man. I'm starting to come back in a little bit. I'm on this is the longest hiatus I've ever had in not buying a single card in like 10 years. So
I know why. I know why. On that note, Jeremy, I don't even know if Karn told you this, but I interviewed Karn for issue 32, excuse me, a Basketball Card Fanatic, and 31, sorry. And so I got to hear from him, what his big purchase was that he hasn't talked about publicly. He shared it. It's going to be in the magazine next month. So you'll get it. You guys,
the full journey from start to finish, and
the whole thing
got there.
It's awesome.
Well, I look forward to reading it and finding out for myself what that card was. Okay, I know.
Me too.
I know what the card was, but I can't wait to read it and read the whole story, which I may have heard, but very exciting. That's really cool. bcfmag.com, everybody. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to it. You will not regret it. Just a beautiful publication overall. Santino says Bird all the way. I think when we're comparing Bird to Magic, I like both guys. I'm fans of both. They're both awesome. They both have such unique and distinct personalities. All right, guys. Tomorrow, if you're around tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern not tomorrow. Today's Thursday. Saturday, Matt Burrows will be my guest. He's Tomcat Sports Cards on Instagram. That's going to be Sports Cards live episode on this channel, 10 o'clock Eastern Saturday, and Sunday at 9:30 Eastern. Josh Madigan, Hockey Cards Gong Show, is going to join me, and we are going to cover the weekly hockey auction on PWCC. I believe we're 8 weeks into that now, and maybe start guessing who I put on the thumbnail. I don't think anybody knows except me right now, but I really like it this week, as I liked it when we had Jacques Plante on a couple weeks ago. All right, Adam, Karn, wave to the camera. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Thanks everybody for joining. This was fun. We'll do it again. Sort of next month. We'll see. We got some nuance to it, but we'll be back as always, everybody. Thank you so much for joining and spending 3 hours and 15 minutes of your Thursday night with us. We greatly appreciate it as always. Thank you, Vintage. Thank you for the comment. And for anyone who puts another comment in after we end, we'll see it. And we thank you for joining. Tonight's show is now officially, thank you, Diamond, officially going once, officially going twice, over.